should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future, trying to forget about the past. So many ways that I could change for the better.
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hey y'all, it's so good to see you this Sunday morning. I want to say hey to y'all real quick. Hey Cajun Juju, Ashley, Sarah, Hazel Eyes, Bad Girl, Miss Holmes, Janet. It's so good to see y'all. Roxanne in Northern California. I've always wanted to go there. Katia, it's good to see you. Jennifer Collins, good to see you. Bad Girl, I think I said hey to you. Tony, Shine On. I like your name. Good morning from Australia. I want to go there too. I would love to go to Australia. I want to see a kangaroo in like real life. Glitter is forever. Good to see you. Jenny Jen. Scrolled all the way to the top. Katia. Rachel. Tony. I think I got all of y'all. If I missed somebody, please let me know. Hey Chaz, good to see you. I'm not using my phone right now because I'm exporting the last documents video. I have been working hard. We slept in today. The whole house did because we were up late last night. It was Saturday. Okay. So I have a couple of things that I'm going to talk about. First, real quick, while I get this playlist pulled up. Tomorrow is day one of the Megan Boswell trial. I will be trying to put out a video, probably reading an article, maybe playing a few clips later on, kind of like a catch up on the Megan Boswell case. But Alex Erickson has a great channel and she has done several breakdowns of it. Also, Leave It to Bieber, Beber. I'm going to try to drop their links once my phone stops exporting the video. I will try to drop their links so you can see them. They've got a lot of information on the Megan Boswell case. I will be streaming that trial. I'm going to try to stream like all day throughout the trial. I will start like an hour and a half or 2 hours after they actually start court. That way, when they go to lunch, we can kind of just skip past that part and continue on. So it will be like an all day thing if you guys want to hang out, because I'm going to be watching it and I would like to watch it with y'all. And we will watch it all the way through unless it interferes with the CSAM stuff with Stefan. If that starts while the Megan Boswell trial is going on, I'm going to cut to that and we'll talk about that. I highly doubt it's going to happen in February, and I still don't know if that's going to be televised. So that's where I'm at with that. Like I said, I will be putting out a video later on Megan Boswell. I've got to get some stuff together just kind of to catch you guys up so you understand what we're doing with that trial. And we're about to look at the preliminary hearing for Ziyah Harris. I'm going to go through and kind of play some important things. I do want to ask everybody politely and with as much smiles and grace as possible to please just be careful about what you say in the chat. I always go with, if I'm not going to say it to your face, I probably shouldn't type it out. You know what I mean? So just please be mindful. And I do really appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you so very much. We're going to start with the Detroit one. And then once I get my phone back, I tried to see if I could use another person's where they have the family actually testifying. I haven't heard back from them, but I'm going to try to use their stuff, drop their links, and promote them. So hopefully that'll be okay. Now, we're going to start, and I don't know how much we'll get through today. I'm going to try to get through as much as possible. This is going to be Mr. Jarvis Butts' business partner from the auto shop that he had. Now, this man right here, he knew that Jarvis was a registered offender, okay? He knew Jarvis had all these children around. They were driving around with Ziyah, going to fix people's cars, all of that. He got a phone call from Mr. Jarvis Butts from jail, and he asked this man that we're about to see testify, he asked him to go get his phone out of the back of his girlfriend's vehicle. And the man actually tried to get it. Luckily, the police intercepted it. But I really feel like this man knows more than he's letting on. And if you notice, he's wearing the same thing as Mr. Jarvis, which is a jail uniform. This green thing right here, that's what you get in jail. You have to buy the shirt to go under it, or, you know, sometimes if people are leaving, they'll give you their stuff. That's jail clothes that he's going to be testifying in. What he's in jail for, I don't know. I haven't looked up Mr. King. That's what they call him. But yeah, so we're going to start with him, and then we'll listen to some of the family, and then tomorrow we'll be starting Miss Megan Boswell's trial. Hey, Anders, it's good to see you. Michelle said, please hit the thumbs up, and if y'all don't mind, please hit the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It helps us get out into the algorithm. That's the only thing I'll ask you to do. I appreciate y'all. Hey, Tan, good to see you. Okay, so this is going to be Mr. King, again, his auto shop business partner, who drove around in the cars with him and Ziyah. So that's where we're at with this. We're going to listen to him. I'm going to speed it up, and then I'm going to jump to some of the family members, like I said, from the person's YouTube that I have once I can get my phone back when it's done exporting, and make sure to drop his links. Thank you so much. Hey, Occasionally Classy. Occasionally Classy says, I tell my children, if you wouldn't or are not comfortable saying it in front of your grandmother or mama, you don't need to be typing it online. Yes, exactly. Thank you. Hey, Carolina, it's good to see you, love. Hey, Sub Rosa. Sub Rosa said like button activated. Thank you so much.
Morning.
All right.
And Mr. Do you have a nickname?
Yes.
And what's your nickname?
King.
Is that K-I-N-G?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'm going to see if I can turn it up. Nope, it's all the way up. I sped it up a little bit. Y'all let me know if it's too fast, because I'm going to try to get through as much of this as we can today. Hey, Abellis. Hey, Hio. Good to see you. Megan Holmes says, isn't Megan Boswell already in prison for unaliving her daughter? Yes, she is. But it's going to trial finally after, I think it's been 4 years. And the trial starts tomorrow. And like I said, I'm going to be watching it. I'm going to start about 2 hours after it actually starts, so that I can skip through the lunch and the breaks and all that. So I'll be watching it. I'll be streaming it if y'all want to hang out.
How old are you?
37.
When's your birthday?
11/17.
What year?
86.
Closed captions aren't available. So again, it's hard to hear. Let me know if it's too fast. I've got it turned up as high as I can get it. So let me know if it's too fast. Let me know if y'all can't hear it. If that's the case, we'll try to skip on to one of the other family members or well-known relatives.
And Mr. Wright, back in January 2024, were you on a MDOC tether?
Yes, I was.
And what dates were you on tether from?
From March 14th, 23 to March 28th of 24.
Now, I've heard them talk about this tether thing. I think that's what they call basically like the ankle monitor, where like you're out on parole or probation and you can only be in certain places. And of course, because they work at an auto mechanic shop, they're going to, have to go deliver cars and things. They probably have a certain amount of time they're allowed to be away from the shop or from their house, and they have to get back. That's the most sensible thing I could think of when they talk about tether, because they talk about being tethered and they have to hurry up and leave and all of that. So I think it's basically an ankle monitor type thing. Hey, Jenny Jen.
And what were your tether restrictions back
Hey, Sarah.
I could leave the house from 6 in the morning. I had to be back in by 9 p.m.
Mr. Wright, do you know someone named Jarvis Butts?
Yes, I do.
How do you know Jarvis Butts?
I first met him. We worked together at a shop called Frank's, and then we owned the shop together.
And do you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom today?
No.
Would you be able to stand up so you can look around?
Yes. No.
When did you meet Mr. Butts?
2018.
And you said you two worked together initially at a place called Frank's?
Frank's.
All right. Where was Frank's at?
He has a couple locations. He has 7, but the one I met him at was on Warren in Neff.
Okay. And What locations of Frank's did you work at with Mr. Butts?
Warren and Neff.
Yes. And Mr. Wright, I'm approaching people's proposed exhibits 4, 5, and 6. Can you look at these and tell me if you recognize those?
I recognize this one, and this one.
And those are those a fair and accurate depiction of the Frank's Auto Shop?
Okay.
At least 2 of them on Warren and the other one maybe on Harper.
Yes.
So they're pictures of the auto shops. All right, I see that. Thank you. It's at 100% exporting the video, so I should be able to pick my phone up in just a second. Okay. All right, I'm going to continue this.
Okay, which is the one that's on Harper?
The last one on the inside.
Okay, and that's People's Exhibit, proposed exhibit 6?
Yes.
Okay, you're not going to the admission of People's 4, 5, and 6?
The objection. Okay. They'll be admitted as People's Exhibits 4, 5, and 6.
Thank you, Judge. How long did you work at Frank's with Mr. Butts?
A few years.
About how many years would you estimate?
2.
And when did that change from Frank's to another shop?
Maybe in 23 sometime.
That girl, it reminds me of that too. When they say tether, it's like, yeah, the things that, like, you know, when you tie the rope around your kid's waist, which I've never done, but I saw it in that movie. What is it? Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I think it is. And then also I think about the lines that the dogs, like you tie the dog and the dog will run back and forth, but it has that line thing on it. That's what it makes me think of. But I think that's basically the correlation. Like, that's what it's supposed to be. You're tethered. Like, it's like that. You're roped to your house or your job when you're on it. Carolina, I didn't know that you watched Jarvis Butts' preliminary hearing, but I appreciate you hanging out with us and watching it again. I do have it sped up so we can kind of try to move through it. I'm trying to just do kind of the close family members who might actually have information about this baby. I am going to try to show you guys where they mark the blood and stuff on her shirt, and I do have the Google search history, and they have the interrogation, but it's hard to hear when they talk about the text.
Would it be earlier in the year or later in the year?
Maybe mid, maybe in May.
Real quick, Cajun Juju said the judge don't even look like she can stand these people or tolerate these people, in my opinion. And yeah, at the end, she says, "You are the monster." That's what she tells him at the end.
Well, maybe April, May.
And then where did you guys work then?
We got a shop together on 9,000 Connor.
And what is at 9,000 Connor?
Sicko, a car wash, and our shop was in the middle of both.
Your manager?
Yes.
Straight, I'm handing you with markers people proposed exhibits 7 and 8. Can you look at those and tell me if you recognize them?
Yes, I don't know.
Okay. And are those a fair and accurate depiction of your shop at 9,000 Connor?
Yes, it is.
And are not with the admission that people's proposed exhibits 7 and 8?
The objection. Okay. They'll be admitted as People's Exhibits 7 and 8.
Thank you. Who did you, and who was it that you mainly worked with at 9,000 Connor?
I'm sorry.
Who was it that you worked with at 9,000 Connor?
Jarvis.
I want to take you back to when you were working at Frank's with Mr. Butts. Did you ever see Mr. Butts with any children there?
Yes.
And specifically, did you deal with any young girl children?
Yes.
And did you know who those were?
Yes.
Who were they?
His daughter, his niece.
Daughters and niece?
Katia, I do think that it will be live streamed. I'm hoping it will. Hey, YouTube. Good to see you.
What about any boys?
Yes.
Okay, and who were they?
His sons.
How often would you see him with children there at Frank's?
Sporadically.
And at 9,000 Connor, did you see Mr. Butts with any children then?
Yes.
Any girls?
Yes.
And who would they be?
His daughter.
And what about any boys?
Yes.
Who would they be?
His sons.
And how often would you see him with children at 9,000 Connor?
Sporadic.
And as it relates to this case, it's fair to say that you spoke with Detroit police a few times?
Yes, about 4.
About 4 times? Okay. That first time that you talked to Detroit police, do you recall about when that was?
The first time was the day before Valentine's Day, so like February 13th.
February 13th, and is that of 2024?
Yes.
All right. And at that time, were you presented with a jail call?
Yes.
Okay. And who was that jail call with?
Jarvis.
Okay. And who was he talking to?
Me.
And what was the topic of that jail call?
He called and asked would I receive a cell phone out of a truck for him.
Miss Holmes, I didn't hear the new info via YouTubers yesterday regarding Ziyah's homicide. I haven't heard about that. The prosecutor asked a lot of repeat questions. That's why King's testimony is so long. Okay. I'm going to try to play like the most important parts, and then I'm going to try to skip through because I know this part's not, all that pertinent, but it is important that he saw them together. And again, I do think he knows more. Hey, Indie girl. I hope that you have a good day, love. Thank you for dropping in and saying hey. I appreciate it. Carolina said exactly. There are always new things learned from rewatching trials. I never heard about blood evidence. I'm here for it with you all. Oh yeah, they got her clothes and there's like blood on it and it kind of looks like vomit, and that makes me think that maybe she threw up because he gave her antifreeze. Which I'm not trying to like, there's herbal ways that you could have done that, but I mean, not trying to excuse anything. This is a horrible thing, but like if you were ever in a situation where you're an adult and we're trying to do that, please seek medical help. There's herbal. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand. But anyway, it looks like if she was to drink antifreeze, I would think she would throw up if he gave her antifreeze of some sort. And it looks like that on her clothes, but they don't mention vomit, so I don't know. It's like I looked at the clothes and listened to that testimony to kind of try to figure out if they had a cause of death or like how they thought she died. And we'll talk about that, and I want to know what y'all think about it, because when we see that, I want to know what you guys think from looking at that evidence. Katia said, I created a small timeline for the Megan case. I can send it to you on Discord. Sorry, I was planning to follow that case. Oh, you can send it to me. Yeah, I would love to put that out there if you would like for me to. I appreciate that. Hey, Gray Moon. I appreciate you hitting the thumbs up. Dainty Dang, thank you for being here. Yeah, I don't know.
And were you familiar with what truck he was asking you to get it from?
Yes.
What truck was that?
It was a Z71 Chevy Suburban.
And did you know who that truck belonged to?
Yeah, his baby mom or somebody was dealing with.
And do you recall listening to that jail call?
Yeah, I recall.
Okay. If I would move to admit the jail call from, I believe it's February 8th, 2024, between Mr. Wright and Mr. Jarvis Butts.
Any objection?
No objection.
What is it? Exhibit number?
Sorry, that's exhibit number 1.
You'll give it as exhibit number 1.
Thank you, Judge. And may I publish?
Yes, I can co-host.
Thank you, Judge. And for the record, I am playing people's exhibit 1.
That's it. This is a one-time free 3-minute call from an inmate at Lee County Jail.
I want to give you a trigger warning. Some of the times when they play these phone calls, they're very I don't know how to say it. They say some words that might not be acceptable to everybody. So I just want to warn you about how this call is probably not going to be the best. K-Palm the Napalm, I like your name, said, I know someone who attempted to unalive themselves with the antifreeze. They described it as extremely bitter and said they had to mix it with another sugary drink to get it down. Comment 1. They said they started feeling tired and weak about 6 hours later. Someone came to their home because they hadn't heard from them and they found them passed out. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. I don't know. Like, you got to remember that unfortunately, well, this was a child. So he could have convinced her. I mean, he groomed her. She trusted him 100% completely and fully. So he could have got her to drink it. I don't know. We'll talk about that today and see what y'all think by looking at the clothes they found. I did just drop the link and pin the link for the testimonies of the family that we're going to listen to. Now, this jail call is sped up. They don't talk this fast. But I just, again, want to give you a trigger warning because some of the times on these jail calls, the language is not real appropriate. K-Palm said they ended up in ICU and had to be on dialysis for a couple of days after. Well, I'm glad that they're okay. My goodness. If anybody is ever feeling any kind of sadness, depression, any kind of domestic violence, please seek help. I'll drop the suicide hotline in the description box as well. I'll work on that now while we listen to this jail call.
Your phone is not set to collect calls. This call has been provided by Helmi as a courtesy for friends and family. You cannot receive additional calls from this entity until you call prepaid. We can take your credit or debit card information over the phone and connect you immediately back to your phone. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. Press 1 to accept all communications from this. Thank you for using Helmi.
My guy, what's up, man?
Not shit, man. What's happening?
Nah, shit, man. How you feel? My bad, I missed your call. I was working like a motherfucker.
I figured they said you was up there banging, said something banging.
Yeah, you know it.
What's up, my nigga? Boy, is that him? What's up, boy?
You know it.
And shit. Man, I'm calling, man. You bitch, they put my money on my motherfucking books, bro.
Oh, yeah, take a minute for me to put that shit on there. Even if you walk in with it, man, they be playing it crazy.
Yeah,
I swear to God. They do that with things and shit. You show you straight, you need something. I mean, I'm not getting a couple hours for that.
Yeah, I'm supposed to have money on my books, nigga. I came in with money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they put this shit on my hookup. I was looking for the average. I get come up $0. That's some bullshit.
That shit crazy.
Yeah.
How is it, though?
Man, that's some bullshit. I'm really gonna be quarantined on this whole shit, bro.
Oh, yeah, they got you on that quarantine club for how long? 3 days?
I don't know how long, nigga. Shit, I'm saying. Oh, I'm about to be the only one in this bitch on my part.
You say what happened?
I said, shit, I'm about to be the remember me and young enough and start talking to one of these people on this bitch.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
What you need?
Huh?
No, I was asking what that customer needs. Man, listen. You straight?
Yeah, I'm good, my nigga.
Huh?
So yeah, I'm good, oh shit, yeah. You got ice number, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I need you to call her one day, nigga, and get that truck up there, nigga. Get my phone out there back seat, bro.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I'm going to get the truck up there. What will tell it?
Tell you about, you talk around the lost car that you're doing, we was moving the radio.
Okay. All right.
You have 1 minute remaining for this call.
Reach my hand in that back seat.
Where? Yeah.
So you reach my hand in that back seat, bro. The box right there. Straight right in the middle of that back seat, bro.
Okay, under it or in the back or in the back?
In the back, like right in the back of the seat, bro.
Okay.
Second, bro.
I got you know you took the key. You took the key to the gate.
It's the same key.
I don't got that key to it.
Yeah, you do. It's the same key to the lock and the door.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah, it's the same key, bro.
Now, you know I got to put the money on the phone later, man. When I get around, baby, I have to put the credit card.
Now, what's weird to me about this is, right, like, if this man is on tether, obviously on some type of probation from what it sounds like, and this man ain't working for him anymore. I mean, I understand that they're friends, but it's like, I would think he would want to be as far away from that as possible. You know what I mean? Like, I would think he wouldn't want to get caught up in the case or whatever. I understand they're friends, business partners, and all of that. But it's just, it's weird to me. And then he knows that the jail call is being recorded. And even though he knows the jail call was being recorded and that the cops heard that, because everybody knows that, right? He still goes and tries to get the phone while on parole, probation, whatever it is. And, you know, he's putting money on the books, on the phone for this man. I don't understand. Like, is it because you got some kind of dirt on him? Why are you still? It doesn't make sense to me personally. K-Palm says, but I imagine they would have passed away if they had not been found. Sounds like a horrible way to pass. At least it can supposedly cause blindness and other permanent damage. I apologize for the sad information. I just had unique insight into antifreeze toxicity, so I figured I'd offer what I know. Thank you for the nickname comments. It's it's your nickname from high school. That's cute. I appreciate the information. It's important that is good insight, especially considering what we're talking about here. There is a picture, I'll try to get it edited and pulled up, but where they show antifreeze in a room with them, but considering that he worked at an auto shop and the children are all smaller than Ziyah was at the current time, I don't think there's a correlation. However, I would be concerned about having antifreeze in a room where children are at, because you never know. Jennifer said, dumb. He's just being dumb. And occasionally classy. Lastly, says, yes, I was thinking the same thing. Why is he still associated with this guy, especially if he's on his own conditions from previous criminal activity? Right. And he goes and tries to get the phone and admits that to the police. Like, why are you doing that? Why are you risking yourself going back to jail? Which it appears he did, because he's in the same clothes Jarvis is.
No, I don't need it though. You said the same one, I got it. So I'll get it right now anyway. Just when I get the strap out of there. Okay.
And Mr. Wright, were you successful in getting that cell phone from the vehicle like Mr. Butt asked you to?
She came up there, but no, I wasn't successful. It wasn't there.
Wasn't there? Okay.
When we say she, who you?
Tasha,
And who's Taki that you know of?
his baby mom.
Okay. Did you look for it in the vehicle?
Yeah, I looked for it.
Okay. And you were unsuccessful at finding it?
Yes.
And Mr. Wright, I want to talk to you now about
Now, I was concerned when I heard that. I thought the phone was lost forever, but evidently the police do end up getting it. Thank God. And K-Palm, I'm glad that your friend was okay. That's a horrible thing. And I did in the description box post information for the suicide hotline if anybody is feeling sad or depressed. You can also email me. I am not a certified specialist or advocate in any way, but if you need somebody to talk to, I'll talk to you. Queen Olive, it's good to see you, love. You're not late. You're right. You got here right when God meant for you to be here.
the second time that you were speaking with Detroit Police. That he heard that it was just a couple days after your first time.
It was not long, a few weeks maybe. I was off tether at that point, I believe.
And do you recall talking about fixing a red Jaguar and going to Ypsilanti?
Yes, I do.
Tell me about how many times did you and Mr. Butts go to Ypsilanti?
I believe it was either 2 or 3.
All right. And how did that come about? Who's red Jaguar is this?
My son's grandma. So she called, said she was having some problems with it, and asked if we would come look at it, which is not unusual. We do house calls depending on the person and where it's located. But this is my son's grandma, so of course we're gonna make the exception. She called and said she was having problems with the car, asked if we would come look at it. We went, assessed the car at her house the first time. I think we made a minor repair there, not to the extent that it was the problem that she was having after the fact.
Okay. So where is this red Jaguar located when you guys go out to see it?
Mr. My son's grandma driveway in Ypsilanti off Michigan Avenue, I believe.
Hey, Petty Mason, it's good to see you. I'll drop the link as well in case anybody wants to come up and talk about this.
And who goes with you out there that first time?
Jarvis.
Okay. It's just you and Jarvis Butts?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys go out there and you assess, make a minor repair,
Yeah.
Does it completely fix the car?
For that problem, yes.
And then is there another time that you end up having to do work on this red Jaguar?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
She drove the Jaguar for a while. It was doing fine. And then she said it was leaking something. I asked her what it was leaking. She said she didn't know. I asked her if she could get it towed to the shop. She said, yeah.
Okay. So at some point, this red Jaguar gets towed to stop at 9,000 Connor?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm glad, K-Palm, that she's doing better.
And who works on it at 9,000 Connor?
Me and Jarvis.
Okay. And what do you do when you finish fixing? Do you ever finish fixing the red Jaguar?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you do when you finish fixing it?
We take it back to her. I called her first and asked her how she was planning on retrieving the vehicle. She said she was going to tow it and I didn't want to cost her no more money, so I told her that we could bring it.
Okay. And do you recall if that was on or about January 9th of 2024?
It was on.
It was on that day?
Yes.
Okay. So on that day, before you take the red Jaguar back, who was tell me about how that day started for you.
I woke up. I typically leave the house at 6 because that's the time I could leave. So I went to the gym. I got to the shop probably around 8:30.
Hey, Jay. Good to see you. So this is important because it's from the day that she went missing. And it's going to place Ziyah with Jarvis that day.
I don't know who opened the shop. I can't really recall which one of us opened it, but Jarvis may have been there already. A few cars came in, then the Jaguar probably got there maybe around 9 o'clock. I assessed the Jaguar. Jarvis left for a moment. I had another mechanic. Being it's a foreign car, so I had a foreign car mechanic on call to help with the work, but he was busy, so he came. Said he wouldn't have time to do it, so I think I Googled it, seen how it was done, and I proceeded taking the work phone call.
Okay. So you were working on the Jaguar, and is Mr. Butts at work that day?
Yes, he was there.
Okay. What do you guys?
To the person in the back, I can't quite see who you are. It says you need to connect your mic, Jay. There's two of you for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Try to come back in. I don't see a J either. I'm kind of worried. So if I throw up a overlay, it's because I don't know who it is, because I haven't seen that person in chat either. Yeah, if that person is here, type in chat or like try to come back in without both things showing.
I think you, Mr. Butts, do as it relates to work tonight.
Sorry. What I meant was try to come back in, because sometimes it'll do that. It'll put two of you up at StreamYard. It does weird things. Tam says, yesterday someone dropped a video of Jarvis's brother supposedly admitting that Shannon committed homicide on Ziyah that day. He was saying Shannon had been giving her antifreeze. You got to be careful, because people will come out of the woodwork in these cases. But if that's true, I mean, the police need to talk to him. This woman needs to be in jail. And Hio and I were talking last night, and I was like, you know, if Jarvis got Shannon pregnant when she was 13, why did he commit homicide on Ziyah when he did the exact same thing? Like, I'll never understand that. I'll never understand, if you are a sick predator, why not just go to jail for what you did instead of killing them? Like, why do you got to take their life? Like, just go to jail for what you did. You'll get out eventually. And number two, she was saying that, you know, if we were talking about if Shannon did it, and I was like, but I don't understand why. And then it was brought up that if Shannon found out that Jarvis was messing with Ziyah, there could be a jealousy aspect to it. Like maybe she got jealous of her and just, you know, committed homicide, is what we both discussed. Now, you know, these are all just speculations. That's what we do here. We speculate. It is not true. I haven't found that information out. I was not there. I did not see. I do not know. But it's just things we're kind of trying to figure out what happened, just like everybody else is, you know?
I think we had a few cars that came in that needed some minor repairs. Between that and the Jaguar, we was jumping in and out of the Jaguar job, and the cars that pulled up, maybe oil change, tune up, whatever, et cetera, so forth was. But we was mainly working on the Jaguar, trying to get the water pump off, as it is a hard job to do.
And do you always have all of your
Abellis, I'm so sorry. I hope you feel better. I hope you feel better, sweetheart. Yeah, go get you some sleep, love.
parts on stock or on your person in stock with you?
No, we call either AutoZone, Mansfield, one of the auto stores that has.
Okay. And did you have to go get any auto parts on January 9th?
Yes, we had to go get the water pump for the Jaguar, as well as some other parts, I believe, for other cars.
Okay. And when you go and get parts, is it usually just one of you, both of you, or something else?
That depends. If it's a car there, then one of us will stay. If it's not a car there, we go together sometimes.
Okay. And on January 9th, 2024, did you guys, did one of you guys go to the auto parts store, or did you both go?
We both went.
Both went? Okay.
Great point, Jenny.
Tell me what happens when you go to the auto parts store.
Before that, I called them. They ordered the water pump, so we went and picked it up when they called and said it was in. We got in the truck, went to AutoZone, got the water pump. On our way back from AutoZone, I believe we forgot something, so we ended up turning back around, going back to AutoZone, grabbed whatever we forgot, came back, and on our way back, we was coming down Harbor. Jarvis said, "I see my niece right there. She walking." We pulled into Angel's liquor store. I still didn't see her. He pointed across my face, said she right there. She was coming across the street at that time. She got in the truck with us. She spoke, hi King, hi Jay, and we proceeded back to the shop.
Okay. So when you guys are driving to these auto parts stores, who's driving?
So he just now put Ziyah in the vehicle with them. He said that she was walking in front of the liquor store and they picked her up and she got in the truck and said, "Hey, Jarvis," or Jay, "Hey, King." So that puts her there with him the day she goes missing.
Jarvis.
Okay. And where are you at?
Passenger seat.
Okay. And you said when you guys are heading back to the shop the second time, that's when you said Jarvis spots someone?
Yes.
Who does he say that he spots?
His niece.
His niece, okay. And do you recognize his niece?
Yes, when I see her, when he pointed her out to me, yes, I recognize her walking across the street.
Okay. And so you guys pull over. Where does she get into the car at?
I believe she getting behind me, so the back seat behind me.
Okay. Does Jarvis say anything to her?
Yeah, she speaks to both of us and we speak back.
Okay. What does he say to her?
Hi.
Hi. And where do you guys go after you pick up his niece?
Back to the shop.
Okay. And that's at 9,000 Connor?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you guys do when you get back to 9,000 Connor?
He back in. We get out. We proceeded working on the Jaguar. I may have got out the car first with the parts, and he was in the car with her for a second. I got out, started working on the Jaguar.
And what happened?
Yes, Jarvis's sister does see Ziyah that day when she is bringing her car to be worked on. Sorry.
I believe she get out, get into the front seat, reposition herself to the front seat of his truck. It was colder that day. I believe she started the truck. We started working on the Jaguar, putting the parts back on. It took a little minute. Like I said, it was a difficult job, so it took a while. At some point, I believe his truck ran out of gas, so we had to stop what we were doing to push his truck to the gas pump so he could get some gas.
So you said that she gets out of the car that you guys were in?
Yes.
Okay, and then she gets into Jarvis' truck?
No. We was always in Jarvis' truck.
Okay.
So she gets out of the back seat and repositions herself to the front seat so she can start the cover.
And tell me, what kind of car, or what kind of truck does Jarvis drive?
Escalade.
And what color?
It's pearl white.
What, if you can see, what is his niece doing while you guys are working on that job?
I believe she's on her cell phone, I believe.
I'll bring a basil and we'll all get under the blanket and drink coffee and watch these trials. Hey, Dainty Dane, again.
Does Jarvis ever take his niece anywhere while you guys are working at the shop?
No.
No. Okay. Did you ask him if he was going to take her home at all?
I believe I asked him was he gonna drop her off when the truck ran out of gas. We had to push it to the pump. It was just a distraction from work. So I asked, was he gonna drop her off? He said no.
And do you finish working?
What?
Finish working on the Jaguar that day?
Yes.
Okay.
If he said he wasn't going to drop her off, how the hell was she supposed to get home? What the crap? Hey, AliX, maybe he was worried about Ziyah being pregnant because of all of his previous charges. This time, it may be longer sentence because of his record. That's a good point. That makes sense. Because again, he still hasn't told where her body is. I assume it's in that river somewhere. God only knows where, because it sounds like that river is pretty vicious. So if he's thinking, I don't think he'll ever tell where her body is if it's not there. He might have just thrown her clothes there or something. But I think he's under the impression of, if they can't find the body, then they're going to have a harder time convicting him, or he might not get convicted at all. But it seems from this preliminary hearing that there is a chance that he could get convicted, and a strong one. But yeah, if he thinks that like he can get rid of her, she would just be a missing person and no one would ever find the body, then yeah, he would. It makes sense, because if she, did turn up pregnant and he got charged with that, and he's looking at habitual felon, then he's going to do life anyway. And if he thinks that he can hide the body and not get in trouble at all, that keeps him from doing life. So if he was looking at it like it's either life or life, it makes sense, unfortunately. It's in Michigan, Sub Rosa. Sarah, thank you for gifting a membership. That was so sweet of you. That was so very sweet. I'll see if I can tell who it went to. It'll take me a minute. If you were gifted a membership from Serena, please tell her thank you. I will come pick you up on the crazy train. I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. Head into Speculation Station. Thank you so much, Sarah. That was so sweet of you. Sarah said, choo-choo, bitches, hop on this crazy train to Speculation Station. Hold on tight and smash that like button. Scoot over and stay seated for this wild ride. I love that. That was so cute.
And what happens after you finish up on the Jaguar?
I called my son's grandma and asked her how she was going to retrieve the vehicle. She said she was going to tow it back. I told her she didn't have to do that. That was just spending extra money. So I asked Jarvis, was it all right if we dropped it off? He said yes. And we started making preparations to do so.
Do you recall about what time you guys finished the Jaguar and prepared to leave?
Right around 7:30 or somewhere around there.
When do you guys eventually leave the shop?
Yes.
Jay Sherrill was gifted a membership by Serena. That might be who was trying to come up. Again, I don't know who that was. I'm sorry that it didn't let you up. But if you're able to get your devices fixed, I would love to talk to you. Dainty Dane said the victim's family could ask for leniency if he tells the location, sadly. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it appears, though, that let me say this. How do I say it? Speculating, allegedly, I don't think the family really cares. Some of them don't, some of them do. It appears immediate family didn't really care. And it's really sad. That's why I really want to talk about this. I really want to get her name out. I really want to follow this case, because this child was not seen. She wanted to be seen. She wanted to be noticed. She wanted attention, and she wasn't getting it. It's sad.
And tell me about who all leaves the shop?
Me, Jarvis, and his niece.
Okay. And tell me about the driving arrangements.
So I drove my 300 and Jarvis drove the Jaguar.
And where was his niece at?
She was with him in the front seat of the Jaguar.
Now, are you able to recall what his niece looked like that day?
Yes, faintly, but yes.
Do you remember?
Okay, so at this point, they're taking the Jaguar back to his son's grandmother's house, and Jarvis and Ziyah are in the Jaguar, and he's following behind in the vehicle. They're going to come back in.
What kind of clothing she was wearing?
I remember she had a jacket on. Like I said, a coat. It was cold, so I think it was
Hey,
colorful.
Annie.
Colorful?
Yeah.
May I approach? Yes. Mr. Wright, I'm approaching with People's Proposed Exhibit 2, and I'm going to direct you to the top left corner. Can you tell me, is there anything that you recognize in that?
The jacket in Channel 1.
Okay. And is that a fair and accurate depiction of the jacket that you've seen his niece, Jarvis's niece, wearing that day?
Yeah.
Okay. And I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 2.
Any objection? Okay. So you'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 2.
Thank you. And I'm going to show you your man. And then showing you this market People's Proposed Exhibit 3. Do you recognize what I just handed you?
Yes.
And is that a fair and accurate depiction of Jarvis's niece as you remember seeing her back on January 9th, 2024?
Yes.
Okay, and is that the same niece that went with you to Ypsilanti?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 3.
No objection. Okay, you'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 3.
Thank you. So, you guys are driving to Ypsilanti. You said you're driving in your 300, and Jarvis is driving the Jaguar with his niece.
Yes.
Okay. How long did it take you guys to get to Ypsilanti?
It was raining that day, so about 35 minutes.
Why is this glass up? Like, is it, I mean, we're not still doing COVID precautions, are we? Like, I don't understand why this glass up. Is it bulletproof glass? Are we still doing COVID procedures? He does have a mask on. What's going on with that? He might be bad
And when
girl.
you guys at Ypsilanti, what do you do?
We get out, park the car, get out. We go in. My son's grandma, and I believe his auntie was there as well, so they greeted us. They spoken to him before, so they greet him. And then my son, grandma asked who the little girl was.
Did you introduce the little girl?
No.
Okay. Who introduced the little girl?
Jarvis did.
And what did Jarvis introduce her as?
His niece.
And about how long do you guys stay in Ypsilanti?
How long? Maybe 15 minutes or so. My son, auntie had to go get the rest of our money that my son, grandma didn't have, so she went to the ATM.
What do you guys do much at the ATM?
Talking. She was just telling us about the work she needed to do around her house, etc., so on and so forth.
Yeah, Bad Girl said it's COVID plastic, but no, it's not from 2019. This did take place like 2 weeks ago, but it's this year. It's 2025 that it took place, beginning of January. Well, about the middle of January, I do believe. Yeah, it must be left there from COVID because this, I mean, I think it's literally like 3 weeks old.
Is Mr. Butts with you the whole time?
Yes.
So, you guys eventually leave Ypsilanti?
Yes.
Okay. And tell me about the driving arrangements for leaving Ypsilanti.
At this point, we only have one vehicle, which is mine. We get in, drive us in the front. I believe Ziyah sat behind me.
Sat behind you?
Yes.
Okay. So, is there any kind of talking or conversation when you guys are driving?
No, I got sounds in my car, so no.
And do you recall about what time you guys, where do you guys go when you leave Ypsilanti?
Back to 9,000 Connor.
Okay. And do you recall about what time you guys get back to 9,000 Connor?
Probably around 8:45. I was standing close on the tether.
What do you do when you get back to 9,000 Connor?
Hey, Kelly.
Open up the shop door where he left. He left his truck in one of the bays, so we opened up that bay door, Went through the gas station because that's the way we entered the shop. Went through.
Annette says he's wearing a mask. He doesn't want to be recognized. Oh, okay. Thank you for that. And welcome in, Annette. It's good to see you.
The gas station, opened the shop, opened one of the bay doors. I went to the back and started splitting the money that we had made for the day, and separating the receipts, etc.
Where do you see his niece go?
Getting this truck.
Do you recall where at this truck she got into?
Passenger seat.
Is that front passenger, back passenger, or something else?
Front passenger.
And where's Mr. Butts at?
Back in the back with me, separating the cash.
And when you leave, do you lock up the shop?
No, I left first.
You left first. Okay. So when you leave, who's still at the shop?
Jarvis and his niece.
Do you see them leave the shop at all?
No.
And have you seen Jarvis's niece, the one that was with you on the 9th? Have you seen her since January 9th, 2024?
No.
Now I want to talk about the day after that you guys went to Ipswich, so January 10th. Do you recall if Mr. Butts was at work that day?
I don't think he was.
What makes you think that he wasn't?
I believe he called me like 3 times, 4 times. No reason for him to call me if he was standing right next to me.
So I don't think he's speculating for the police.
I'm sorry, bad girl.
You asked the question. Re-asked the question.
Yes. So you said that you don't believe he was at work because he would call you. You call him so often.
He called me. We had a 30-minute conversation on one account, and then we had another conversation about 15 minutes. So
that makes you believe in your mind that he was actually on the ceiling.
What's the question first?
That's based on those conversations. In his mind, to him, that means that Mr. Butts was not at the shop with him. I don't think that's leading. It's stating a conclusion.
He already stated that he wasn't at the shop. He didn't move. So I'll overrule.
Thank you. You can.
one more time. I'm sorry.
Sorry. So based on the length of those phone calls and the type of them, so that make you believe that Mr. Butts was not the shop.
Right.
Did Jarvis Butts ever mention to you about his niece being missing?
No.
Have you talked to Mr. Butts aside from that jail call that we played since turning himself in?
No.
I mean, I don't know how you would talk to him unless he snuck a cell phone or something. Since he's turned himself in. Yeah, I don't know. I said, I'm so sorry, bad girl. I said it earlier, but I said it kind of quick. I'm so sorry. That's hard. My mother's still alive, but my father died, and it was real hard on me. I was closer to my daddy. I love my daddy very much, and it broke my heart. I'm so sorry. Rachel said, I saw someone post that the mask was also because they didn't take too kindly to him in jail. Don't know if it's true. Oh, I haven't heard that. I think we've seen his face, but I'm not sure if we've seen it like recently. That's interesting. Wouldn't surprise me, especially considering it's Detroit.
Do you know someone, you know any of Jarvis's siblings?
Yes.
And which sibling do you know?
I met his brother and I met his sister.
Okay. You talked to his sister. Well, start that. Do you remember would his sister ever come to the shop?
Sporadically.
Sporadically. Okay. And are there times that you talk to her?
Yes.
Okay. And you talked to her about Jarvis's niece being missing?
After the police questioned me, I believe she came up there and we spoke about it. Yes.
I'm so sorry, Kelly. Hey, Susie Q, it's good to see you. Oh, hold on. We got some deets from Carolina. Carolina said, actually, jail records show that Jarvis Butts was jumped and beat up by other inmates. He's wearing the mask to hide his injured mouth, and notice he walked in with a limp. It's speculated that he was violated. Oh, goodness. If they put him in general pop after what he's accused of, I could definitely see it. Usually they don't put him in general pop. That's interesting. I need to pull those jail records. Like I said, in the beginning of this case, right when it first happened, right when I started my channel, well, I started my channel like September of 2024, like this past September. Jenny Jen, my mod, told me to pull information on this case. I submitted a FOIA and was unable to get any information back. They won't send me anything. And I tried again and they won't send me anything. I would love to get those jail records if you know how to get them. Hey, Rose Thorne, it's good to see you, love. Yeah, I was a daddy's girl. I was a daddy's girl so much. Yeah, not till after trial. After trial, they'll give it to me, but what they cite is it hasn't gone to trial and they won't give me anything. Oh, I don't feel sympathy for him. I think he deserved it. He absolutely deserved every bit of it. He's a predator. He groomed her.
Mr. Wright, I asked you earlier about if you'd seen Mr. Butts in the courtroom. Did you see him?
Yes.
Okay. May I approach?
Yes.
And I'm showing you People's Proposed Exhibit 9. Can you tell me if you recognize that photo?
Yes.
And who is it in that photo?
Jarvis.
Okay. That's Jarvis Butts?
Yes.
Okay. Now for the
I want to see it.
Exhibit 9.
Exhibit 9.
Saw a little bit of it.
Mr. Wright, I kind of want to direct your attention back to People's Proposed Exhibit 3. People's Exhibit 3, I'm sorry. Can you get from here where I'm holding it?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know who this person in this photo is now?
Yes.
Okay. And who do you know her as now?
Ziyah.
So he didn't know who she was, her name, the whole time they're riding around with her and stuff? That's interesting.
Did you see Jarvis Butts after January 9th, 2024? Do you see any injuries on him?
That's a good question.
No, I don't believe I've seen it.
Really for the judge. Good morning, Mr. Wright.
Good morning.
You said that, I believe, in your testimony that you have known Mr. Butts since about 2018, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. You said you met at Frank's, the shop that you looked at.
That's correct.
You said you guys worked together at Frank's for about 2 years,
That's correct.
and so that means in about 2020, you opened up the shop on Connor, is that?
No, in 2021, I went to prison.
Okay.
So that's why we didn't work together for that period of time.
And
But
so you came back
I came back and we went back to the same thing.
at Frank's,
Yes.
and then what year was that?
That was 2023.
Okay, and so then how long after you came back were you, the two of you at Frank's together?
Maybe a few months to maybe like the middle of the year. So maybe around either June. It was before summer, so maybe around April. It was still a little cold outside.
Okay. So like early spring
Yeah.
of 2023 is when we said that you think that you opened up the shop at 9.
Yes, it could have been earlier than that, but yes, around.
And so you became business partners?
Yes.
Did you give business partners?
Yes.
Okay. You also consider Mr. Butts a friend at that point?
Yes.
As far as the business arrangement, you said it was a 50-50 split. Did you split it every day at the end of the day? Or?
Every day at the end of the day.
Now back around the beginning of 2024, maybe the end of 2023,
Hey, Rosie.
were you seeing a woman in Clinton Township?
A woman in Clinton Township?
Yes. A friend of a woman named Shannon Harris?
In 24?
Yes.
No.
Or ever?
Yes.
When were you seeing her?
This probably was 2000 and maybe 19 or 20.
That's the
We got a couple more minutes of this left. I'll back it up and we'll watch him come in and sit down. I didn't even think to play that. So Susie Q said Ratchet King posted a video yesterday, and it's a short clip of a phone call saying that Shannon committed homicide on Ziyah, and it honestly makes more sense than Jarvis. He got 13-year-old pregnant and never unalive before. Yeah, I played his video yesterday, and I made sure to give him credit, and I only played clips of it, but I played the video where he's talking about Shannon was pregnant at 13, and then it shows a picture of that man dancing with Ziyah. And you know, I couldn't validate it, but that's why I was like, why would Jarvis like commit the homicide on Ziyah if he had already gotten Shannon pregnant at 13? I'll have to go check out his page again and see and listen to that and see what we can figure out.
So before you went?
Before I went to prison.
Okay. Did you and Mr. Butts ever have a falling out about that?
No.
If you guys are watching the replay or, you know, whenever, the link for Ratchet King is in the description box of yesterday's video, and it says Ratchet King. Excuse me.
Now you and Mr. Butts, did you talk about your personal lives?
I'll see if we can pull it up.
Sometimes, yes.
You just been good at things that work together, right?
Right.
So presumably it came up.
Of course.
Talk about girlfriends.
Of course.
Did women often come to the shop looking for Mr. Butts?
Sporadically.
Did he talk to you about the various women that he would be seeing or juggling, maybe?
That happened.
Okay. It sometimes caused drama in the shop.
It happens.
Women would come maybe in front of Mr. Butts,
It happens.
maybe about other women that he was seeing.
It happens.
Did you ever feel like that was affecting the business?
Not at Frank's.
What about at the business that you owned in Connor?
No, it didn't happen as much there.
Didn't have as much in Connor?
Right.
Okay. Now, sometime, I guess, while the two of you were working together,
Okay,
you had a
Carolina.
friend that was, I guess, talking to or trying to date one of Mr. Butts' daughters. Is that correct?
That happened.
The daughter was like 21, 22.
She was somewhere around there. I'm not 100% certain, but yeah, around that age, 20, 21, 22.
And then
Wait a
caused an
minute.
issue for Mr. Butts.
It did.
He got
Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm going to read this comment. I didn't quite catch what he just said. I thought he said he was trying to date his daughter. And he said, is there a possibility the aunt was jealous of Ziyah and poisoned her? That's what the speculation is with if Shannon, who's the aunt, did it. That she found out Jarvis and Ziyah, or well, excuse me, Jarvis was abusing Ziyah. She got jealous of Ziyah and committed the homicide is the story if the aunt did it. I'm backing that up a little bit. Let's hear that again. He's talking about dating somebody's daughter.
Now, sometime, I guess, while the two of you were working together, you had a friend that was, I guess, talking to or trying to date one of Mr. Butts' daughters. Is that
Okay, one of his friends was trying to date Mr. Butts' daughter. So Miss Jarvis's 21-year-old daughter, one of King's friends was trying to date. Okay, Susie, thank you. I think this guy knew too. I know he can speak louder than he is too. They tell him to move the microphone, but I don't know why they didn't this time. Cajun.
correct?
That happened.
The daughter was like 21, 22.
She was somewhere around there. I'm not 100% certain, but yeah, around that age, 20, 21, 22.
And that caused an issue for Mr. Butts.
It did.
He got pretty upset with his friend.
It did. I was in prison at the time, so, but yes, I was involved directly.
Did you ever hear about an altercation that happened between the two of them?
Some kind of altercation did occur, yes.
What was your impression that Mr. Butts was pretty protective of her?
Yeah,
Based on that?
based on that.
That's
Do you know how many
interesting.
children Mr. Butts has?
13?
And you said that some of them would come to the shop.
Yes, I have.
You're familiar with them?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask you the name of all of them, but at the shop on Connor, you said his sons would come,
His son will come sometimes and stay today with us.
and his daughter.
She'll come sometimes and stay today with us.
And what's her name? Do you recall?
Now I don't want to misname it.
Okay.
I think it's someone with a J or something like that, but I'm not 100% sure.
Was she like a teenager?
He has a teenager. She come up there sometime, but not really. The littlest one, maybe 9, 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there.
Okay. And then his niece would also come?
Yes.
Would she come typically with his own children?
When I first met her, yes, that's how I met her with his daughter. She would always come with his daughter. They would come up there sometimes to get air in their tires, maybe money, just typical kid stuff.
Did he ever, or did the two of you ever have them like doing chores around the shop?
Sometimes.
Did Mr. Butts talk to you about his children?
Yes.
Did you talk about spending time with them?
Yes, I believe he lived with the majority of them.
And you said it, you mentioned Tasha. She's one of the mothers of some of his children,
Yes.
correct? Was that who he was living with at the time?
No, I don't believe so.
Now, you said, I believe in your testimony, that you had been to Ypsilanti twice with Mr. Butts.
Or 3 times, one of the. Yes.
It possibly could have been 3.
It could have possibly been 3. I'm not 100% certain.
Now, one of the times that his niece was at the shop was, you said, on January the 9th.
First time I seen her by herself, yes.
That's because you have a picture up on Harper.
Yes.
So it's the first time she's there by herself, and that's the day she goes missing.
Did Mr. Butts seem surprised that he saw her?
I'm not sure. I couldn't really, we was riding. I wasn't really paying attention to his expression. He just said, "Hey, there go my niece." I didn't see her, so he pointed her out to me.
And at that time, you only knew her as his niece, correct?
Yes.
You didn't have any idea what her name was at that time?
No.
And in fact, the reason you learned her name was when you identified that picture that was just shown to you, and the police told you what her name was. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say.
You got this little girl coming to the shop. You picking her up and driving her around, this man's niece, and you don't even know her name? Like, think about when you meet a child, hey, what's your name? That's what I usually say. Hey, what's your name? And then I tell him my name. Like, that's weird to me that he didn't even know her name.
Now, in the time that you were at the shop on the 9th with Mr. Butts and his niece.
Okay,
was
thank
any
you, Ms. Holmes.
inappropriate Behavior, anything that made you raise your eyebrows between the two of them?
No.
What about any of the other times that his niece would have been there at the shop? Did you ever see any behavior that made you question or thought was inappropriate?
I can't say I have.
Now, the 3 of you rode back from Ypsilanti on January 9th. That was your testimony, right?
Yes.
Was there any conversation between Mr. Butts and his niece in the car?
There was no conversation between really nobody. I had the music on.
And I'm going to back up to earlier in the day when the 3 of you came to the shop the first time after you picked her up from on Harper.
Okay.
You said that she pretty much stayed in Mr. Butts' car the whole time.
Yes.
You said she was on her phone.
Yes.
Did you ever leave the shop at all after that before you guys went to Ypsilanti?
Maybe in the gas station.
So not really, just the attached gas station.
Yeah, maybe to the gas station. I'm not sure if I actually physically left the building. I'm not sure.
Would have been from within like 5 or 10 minutes.
I don't know how you don't remember that. I'm checking my email now. Hey, Veronica.
If I ever left, no, maybe to use the bathroom, so maybe 10 minutes tops if I had to leave.
You never went to grab parts at any place that you can recall.
Not that I can recall.
Now, after January 9th, what was the next time you said that you saw Mr. Butts?
The 11th.
The 11th. Okay. He was not at work on the 10th?
No.
Okay. Were you there on time on the 10th? Do you recall?
I'm never on time.
What time did you come in on the 10th?
Probably about 8:40. I go to the gym, so we open at 8, but I'm never there at 8. So I probably got there maybe 8:49.
And on the 10th, were you the one that opened the shop?
Yes.
Now, you were aware at that time that Mr. Butts was supposed to turn himself in and serve a jail sentence. He's still in jail. That's correct?
Yes, I am.
You have talked about that, obviously, because he was going to leave the business for a while.
Correct.
Okay. And you actually went to the courthouse on the day he turned himself in to support him, right?
Yes, I was.
Miss Holmes, I've got it pulled up now. I just pulled your email and I pulled him up. It looks like they're like live streams that he does where he talks. So I'm gonna check him out when I'm not on the live. And Ratchet King, if I can pull the audio, like the clip it of the audio, I'll play it. I haven't spoken to him and I don't want to just use, I try not to just use his material unless I speak to him. I did fair use yesterday because I couldn't find a way to contact him. But I try not to do that very often. But I will see what I can pull on that Ratchet King video y'all are referencing. Caesar Q said Shannon doing it makes way more sense to me. Jarvis has been getting young girls pregnant his whole life and he never unalived anyone, but the family has been lying in their testimony the whole pre-trial. They are all protecting Shannon, not Jarvis. That's why they're all lying on the stand. They have no reason to lie for Jarvis, but the family would definitely lie for Shannon. I don't know. I think so. I mean, it makes more sense. Again, like I said, my issue is that, yeah, he's been getting young girls pregnant this whole freaking time. Nobody stepped in. No teachers, no counselors, no police officers, nobody gave a shit, in my opinion. And that's disgusting. That you see these young children walking around out here pregnant and ain't nobody doing a damn thing. That really irritates me so much. But he's been doing it his whole life. Like, why would he kill her? It makes more sense to me that Shannon did it out of jealousy. Carolina said, I'm guessing because Jarvis Butts set it up to Ziyah taking the bus to where he picked her up from. She asked her aunt about that location under the guise of the school project the night before, according to testimony. Really, we're going to listen to the testimony. I thought the bus drop, where she got off the bus was where she normally got off. In the presser yesterday, she said she got off with a friend and instead of taking a right, she took a left. So I thought it was the same bus stop, but she just walked a different way when she left. But I could be wrong. I haven't heard all the testimony of the family. We're going to listen to that together.
I was there.
And he was going to be serving time on a gun possession charge, is that right?
That's correct.
If you know.
That's correct.
And because you were kind of paying attention to what was happening, you understood that the court date had gotten changed a few times.
Yeah, he told me that it had changed. So I believe he's supposed to get sentenced on the 9th, but it got pushed back to February the 7th. So I learned that through him. I didn't go to court with him that time, but just when he got sentenced, I went to court with him that time.
Are you familiar with any court dates that he had out in township around that time?
He did say he had something going on with his daughter, I believe. I believe it was domestic with his daughter of some sort. So yeah, I was familiar with that, I believe.
Or was he going to court for that at that same time?
Around about, I believe it was supposed to be, yes.
Now you got involved because at some point you became aware that the Detroit police wanted to talk to you back in February.
They came to the shop and picked me up.
Okay, that should took you
to headquarters.
Okay, and that was the first time on February 13th, is that right?
That was February 13th.
Kelly, we went through yesterday and played a bunch of videos kind of breaking down the case. I would advise you to watch that one to kind of get caught up on everything going on in the case, because there's a lot to it. There's a lot going on. But you can definitely hang out here. They're going to kind of explain it in this. This is basically because they don't have a body. They're presenting the evidence that they have to the judge. Some of it, I'm sure it's not all of it, and seeing if the judge says that it's enough to go to trial. So that's basically all I know right now. But it'll explain everything they have. So you'll get a good idea of what's going on through watching this too. You're good, Carolina.
Again, a couple days later.
Yes, I would believe the first time I spoke with him, I was still on tether, so it had to be sometime after I was on tether. Yeah.
And then you spoke with them again in March, right?
Yes.
Was that a phone conversation?
No, all of our conversations was via person.
Okay. And then a couple weeks ago, did you also speak with the police?
Yes.
And the prosecutors?
I don't know if a prosecutor, but yes, I believe she. Yes.
Now, in February, when you were talking to the police, by that time, had you seen anything on the news or on social media about who you later learned was Mr. Butts' niece?
No.
So at the time you were interviewed by the police, you didn't know anything about?
No.
Okay. And at the time that you were talking to the police, while you were on tether in February, you were on tether because you were on parole, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you had about 3 weeks left.
So that validates it. Tether is the ankle monitor because she just said you were on tether because you were on parole. So yeah, that's what it is. Susie Q says the family said Ziyah never showed up after school when she should have, but how did Shannon get her tablet if she never went home, but she had it in school that day? Great question. I didn't even realize that. Thank you for pointing that out. That is a great question. Very interesting. I played the video yesterday where they ask her what happened to Ziyah, and she says, you figure it out.
On parole at that point.
Not 3 weeks in February.
Yes.
I had 3 weeks left on tether. I got off actual parole in May.
Okay. So the tether was coming off, but you were still going to have to report.
3 more months after the tether came off.
And in February, I believe it was the second conversation that you had with the detective, presumably. You and the officer, or the detective, spoke about the tether, right? Do you recall that?
I believe so, yes.
Because you were concerned every time you would go somewhere, you would be late. You were very
Oh, yeah,
home
yes.
on time.
Right.
And in fact, he actually said, hey, we'll take care of you if anything pops up, right?
He said, I'll talk to your PO, so you're fine.
Okay. And he also kind of warned you that you didn't want to get somebody upset about the way you were answering these questions and have somebody feel some kind of way about you. Do you recall him saying that to you?
He may have said something to that extent. I'm not sure, though. This is the first conversation or the second you asked me
The
about?
second, right at the top of the conversation.
I can't really recall every word. I know they were agitated. I was a little agitated. There was a lot going on, so maybe
It's possible that that conversation.
it's possible.
Did you understand any of his statements while you're talking to him, to me, and that
Okay, Carolina, thank you for being here, honey.
the police wanted you to give answers, and if you didn't give answers, that they could mess with your parole or your tether status?
Also speculation,
It goes in a state of mind.
but he doesn't know what happened.
It's about what he believes might happen and could have to said.
Speculation is referred to as far as what they actually asked him.
Was it your understanding that if you didn't give certain answers, that the police might impact your parole or your tether status? Was that a concern of yours?
I mean, it was already affecting my tether, so I wasn't really, concerned about how he placed his questions upon me, no. So, more of the concern was my being picked up by the police. Police contact is a violation of parole within itself, so I was violated for the police contact, regardless to whatever he was saying. You get what I mean? So, no, I don't believe it impacted anything at all, actually.
But your parole wasn't actually revoked because they took you to the station and interviewed you, right?
No.
Now, we talked a little bit about this a few minutes ago. Mr. Butts was struggling with a few different women during the time you knew him.
Yes.
And it's hard to keep up with all his baby mamas.
It wasn't my job, so yeah.
And what he said weren't his
Right.
baby mamas.
Right.
Did you get the impression from Mr. Butts that he didn't want?
I didn't like the way she said that. It was hard to keep up with all his baby mamas. I'm not trying to advocate for him, but why do you got to say it like that? Like, why not say it was hard to keep up with all the women he had children with or something to that effect? I didn't like the way she said that. I really did not. And my answer would have been the same, yeah, it wasn't my job to keep up with that. So sorry.
They were agitated. I was a little agitated. There was a lot going on, so maybe
It's possible that that conversation.
it's possible.
Did you understand any of his statements while you're talking to him, to me, and that the police wanted you to give answers, and if you didn't give answers?
Sorry, I
they
skipped
messed with
it
your
back.
parole?
I'm trying to get it back.
After that phone conversation, Tasha actually came into the shop to get some work done on the car,
Yes, he came to get a oil change and a headlight.
and that's when you went and kind of looked for the phone.
Yes,
Now, you didn't really want Tasha to know that you were looking for the phone, right?
of course.
And the reason for that was,
She's gonna wonder why I'm looking for a phone.
and it was your impression that Mr. Butts was afraid it would reveal that he was talking to other women,
Of course,
and so you're trying to help him keep
Cool.
peace.
of course.
Yes.
So he explains that he's going to get the phone because basically he knows Jarvis is seeing so many different women and he's trying to keep this woman where his phone's in her vehicle, the woman who has the vehicle that his phone is in, from finding his phone and seeing all the conversations between him and other women. Is what he thought if he didn't know that Ziyah was involved. I think Jarvis was trying to get it because of the conversation specifically with Ziyah. Although if the woman found out about the other women, she might not put money on his books if she's doing that.
I think the testimony was on the 9th, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there was, and during the day, Mr. Butts had zest was there, is that correct?
Yes.
And he had run out of gas,
Yes.
and he had to get gas, is that right?
That's correct.
And somebody pushed him to the, or helped push the Escalade to a gas pump.
Yes.
Do you recall leaving with him that night and going and getting gas together?
For his truck, or what we saying? Or for like a gas can? What do you?
Well, either one. Did you all leave the shop, and perhaps you in your vehicle and he in his vehicle, and end up at a gas station
No.
on the night?
No.
You don't really know that?
I don't remember that. No.
Okay. I think that's all I have. Thank you. You redirect?
All right, now they're going to redirect real quick.
Okay.
And we'll watch him walk in.
Thank
Oh, we are done. Okay. I'm going to put it back on normal speed. I'm actually going to make sure there's nothing else at the end of this video. And we'll watch Mr. Butts walk in real quick. Yeah, there's nothing else in that. All right, let's watch Mr. Butts walk in. I don't know if it's going to show it, but we'll see. He looks okay. It might be in one of the different days. I think that's a tattoo on his neck. Hold on. Looks like he does walk. Oh my gosh, mouse. Hold on. Stay. Lordy Jesus. I'm going to try one more time. He slid a little bit. It did appear he was limping a little bit.
Okay, any preliminary matters before we begin the exam?
And I missed it.
Would request her to invoke the rule of seat frustration.
And the people would ask,
Hold on. Thought I missed it.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning to your staff, the Defender Services, by Henry PE2125 on behalf of Mr. Jarvis Butts.
And good morning, Your Honor. We're Defender Service by Cheryl Quick, P83973, also on behalf of Jarvis Butts. Mr. Butts, please state your name. Mr. Butts, you can have a seat. Good morning, Your Honor.
Might not be this one. All right. I did see him limp a little bit. Hold on, it's going to take a minute to close out.
Would request her to invoke the rule of seat frustration.
and the people would ask
My
for
computer's
that
acting
section,
weird.
the officer in charge would say in the back,
Hold on just a minute.
And just, question.
There we go.
Sergeant Johnson has testified today.
Not today.
We'll watch it when we watch about the blood evidence and things like that. I think he walks in for those. Okay. I'm going to play the testimony of the grandmother, the ex-fiance, and the sister, or the aunt, excuse me. These 3 videos is going to be from a YouTube channel called Justice is a Process. Their link is pinned at the top of the description box. please give them a like and subscribe. And they are also in the description box as well. I'm gonna take it back and we're gonna watch it from the other news channel where they show him walking in. We'll watch it in just a minute. I'm gonna speed these up too because they're long. So we'll start with the grandma. Again, this is from Justice is a Process. They've got a lot of like trial stuff, like where they go to court and stuff. Lots of court videos. So it's really actually a great channel. Hold on. I don't know why it does this. It'll just play it even though I paused it.
Speak clearly in the mic. You can pick it up.
Okay, Justice is a Process has a lot of like court cases on their videos, and it's really interesting. You can see lots of different cases. It seems like they have like all the court cases where people are actually in court talking. So I really appreciate them. Again, they're pinned at the top of the comment section and in the link in the description box below. If you're watching this on replay and this part of my live is missing, it's because I got in trouble for playing it. So go check him out regardless, even if he strikes me and I get in trouble for playing it, please still go check him out so you can see these testimonies. Because I tried to reach him on X. I haven't got a message back. I did ask him if he minds if I use it. I haven't heard back, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. But again, even if it's missing from the live, go check him out because he's got this information and it's pertinent to the case. He's pinned at the top of the comment section and he's in the description box. Thank you so much. We don't know what he's on parole for.
Thank you. Could you state your name for the record?
And then Harris.
And Ms. Harris, do you know someone or did you know someone by the name of Ziyah Harris?
Yes.
And who is Ziyah to you?
My granddaughter.
Are you her legal guardian?
Yes, I am.
When did you become her legal guardian?
I adopted Ziyah back in 2016.
And that was paperwork filed and all that to legally adopt her?
Yes, it took a process. Oh, yes.
And back in January of 2024, did Ziyah live with you?
Yes.
I don't want to know the specific address, but what street did you live on?
Bedford.
And is that in the city of Detroit, Wayne County?
Yes, it is.
How long had Ziyah been living with you at that address on Bedford?
Oh, wow. Basically, ever since I had her.
Since 2016?
Well, we moved to another house.
Okay. When did you move into the Bedford house?
Let me see, 2019.
Now, her brother is the one that was dancing with Ziyah, hugging and kissing on her when she's young. And it looks like right about the time he caught a charge for sexual assault of the 3rd degree, basically touching a child. That's that man we saw in the video yesterday hugging and kissing on him. And Ratchet King, when I played a portion of his video, he had pulled up the report on that man. That man was this woman's brother. Miss Holmes says Annette Harris really is lying in her testimony. She's no kind of grandma I would ever want for my children. I've heard a lot about her. I've heard a lot about the whole situation. Susie Q said, I was watching him a bunch lately. He said he doesn't mind people using his videos as long as they credit him. He's been getting lots of people using his stuff without giving his due credit. I hate that. I hate when people do that. Like, it's so easy to just pin the link and put it in the description box and say where you got it. People work hard for their YouTube channels. And I really appreciate people like that. You know, I've always said, I don't mind if y'all use my stuff. Just say where you got it. I don't care. Anybody can use it. I don't care if you've got no subscribers or if you've got 150,000. It's as long as you give credit, you can use my shit. And I appreciate other people being like that as well. But just in case he hears this, I did try to reach out on X. And again, he's in the description box and he's the pinned comment in the section box. Please give him a like and subscribe because he's got a lot on there and he does a lot of, it appears that he's doing a lot of hard work because he's got a lot of court cases.
We moved in that house and then moved in the house that I am now, which is still on Bedford.
Okay. And did Ziyah make those moves with you?
Yes.
And in January of 2024 at that Bedford location, who else lived there?
Just me, the kids. My other daughter lived with me at the other address, but it was just basically me and my kids and Shannon.
And who is Shannon?
My daughter,
And what's her last name?
Harris,
And she lived with you and Ziyah and the other kids at the Bedford location?
at the first Bedford location.
Okay. At
Yes.
that first,
So she was in the house. That means Jarvis was in the house. Jarvis had access to this child, and he was a known predator. Hey, Brit92 said, have y'all heard the quote leaked phone call of Harris' brother saying exactly what happened the day she passed? They were talking about it. I definitely want to check it out, but I have to be careful playing Ratchet King's material. I'm definitely going to check it out though.
first Bedford location, how many other kids in addition to Ziyah lived there?
My other two, my grandson and my other grandchildren.
Okay. So how many kids total in that house?
I'll work on trying to find a time stamp for that right now while we listen to this. Please hit the like button, says Veronica.
6 children, 6.
And you and Shannon, correct?
Well,
Living there.
Shannon, she was there, but she wasn't really like there all the time.
Okay.
She would spend more majority of her time at my house, but actually Shannon had her place out in Clinton Township.
And when you were there in January of 24, how old was Ziyah at that time?
January 24th, she had 13. She had her birthday in September.
And was she going to school?
Yes, she was.
What school did she attend?
J.E. Clark Preparatory Academy.
And is that also in Detroit?
Yes, it is.
Just generally, can you tell us about your morning routine with the kids, specifically Ziyah, about getting them to school and things like that?
Sure. Okay. 6 a.m. That's when I get the children up. They usually get up, get dressed, prepare themselves. About 7:15, 7:20, we're basically saying prayer and we're loading up in the car. I'm dropping them off at school at 7:30. Breakfast starts at 7:30, and they like to eat breakfast at school.
And does that include Ziyah? You would drop her off at J.E. Clark?
All together, yes.
Now, I want to talk about, let me ask it this way. Did you know someone by the name of Jarvis Butts?
Yes.
And do you see Mr. Butts in the courtroom today? If you need to stand up and look around.
So again, this man is in and out of the house. He's a known sexual predator, and you're just letting him around all these children.
I don't see it.
Do you need glasses?
Yeah, my
Okay,
daughter has my glasses.
Okay, Judge, may I take a moment?
Hey, Marshall. Hey, Mallory. I agree. From what I've heard. But again, I mean, going back to generational, if her brother's a predator, I mean, I wonder, again, how long it's been going on and why isn't anybody trying to stop the cycle of abuse? I'll never understand that. I'll never understand, because while this case is very similar to the Madeline Soto case, it's a lot different because it appears that, I mean, this was just an open secret. It was open for everybody to know. It was so apparent that this was happening and nobody did anything. I can't. It irritates me. She is, Miss Holmes. I thought the same thing. I'm like, really, ma'am? Stop it. It's possible.
Okay, First Witness.
Yes. Thank you.
Possible, Rosie.
And if you could just stand up and take another look.
Okay.
Possibly
Do you see
she's
Mr.
getting
Butts in the courtroom
paid.
today? Could you
Yes.
point to him and identify a piece of clothing that he's wearing?
Blue uniform with a blue mask.
For the record, the witness has identified Jarvis Butts, the defendant in this matter.
So Rebecca,
And may I approach the witness again, Judge?
Yeah.
I'm approaching with what's already been admitted as People's 9. And Ms. Harris, do you recognize the person in that photo?
Yes.
And who is that person?
Jarvis Butts.
And is that the same person you've identified in court here today? Ms. Harris, how did you know Mr. Butts back in January of 2024?
He's the father of my daughter's children.
And is that daughter Shannon Harris?
Yes.
Okay. How many kids do they have together?
5.
And would he come around your house on Bedford in January or the months leading up to January?
So she's already testifying that Shannon had 5 kids. And from what I've heard, Shannon has 6 kids. 1 was given up at the age of 13 that belonged to Jarvis that she had when she was 13. Really, Allie? I'd have to find that, but that's interesting. Why are all these babies having babies, and why is it being accepted?
Whenever he did come, he would always pull up in a white truck, and Shannon would go out to the car, and they would sit and talk or whatever, but he would very rarely come in my house.
And during that time, when he would come around and sit in his car, was there any times that he would interact with Ziyah that you saw?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay. Now I want to talk specifically about January 9th. You had described your morning routine with the kids. Did you follow that routine on January 9th?
Yes, I did.
And did that include dropping Ziyah off at J.E. Clark, 7:15, 7:30?
Yes.
Susie Q said that whole family has normalized the sexualization of little girls. Shannon had a baby at 13, right? And if what Allie X said is true, Grandma had a baby at 11 years old. I mean, why are we not stopping this cycle of abuse? You've got to know it's wrong. And if you don't, somebody needs to step in and give all of the members of this family some counseling, some serious counseling, and let them know that there's another way. And even if you did have a child that young, have the child take care of the child, or you give the child up for adoption, whatever you're going to do, and seek help. Like, get some counseling. That's traumatic. We need to deal with the trauma from this family that's going on inside this family, so it stops. I mean, my goodness. I don't know. I've heard a 4-year-old was sexually assaulted and got a venereal disease from it. I heard CPS took the kids, but I don't know much else, which we're not going to. Rachel said the whole family just lies. They get benefits and wouldn't want them affected. So looking past all this is multi-generational. I don't know about the benefits thing. I certainly hope not, but it does appear that the abuse is multi-generational, and I hope that they can get some help.
And can you tell us what she was wearing on January 9th, 2024?
Yes, she was wearing a pair of light powdered blue jeans with a light powdered blue jacket that had the black little fur around the collar. It was like a 2-piece set.
And did you have a sweater on or a shirt on or something?
Yes, Leah. Eric Gamble is his name. We played the video of him hugging and kissing all over Ziyah and saw that he got charged with a sexual offense shortly after it appeared that video was made, just judging by how old she looked in the video and the time frame. But I think that was the only charge on there. So if he is the father of Annette's child, he didn't get charged with it. But again, at 11 years old, who is around the child enough to get her pregnant at 11 years old? You know what I mean? So that's questionable. My youngest is 9, and I look at her and see these cases, and I'm like, how could you see anything but innocence and purity? And I mean, why? Like, but we're normal people, right? They're not.
She had a shirt. She wore a shirt underneath it.
And you remember, did you have any other clothes with her on the 9th when you dropped her off?
She had her little blue sweatshirt with a little hoodie. She had that with her.
And do you know how or when she got that hoodie?
I bought that hoodie for her. I guess it was in the fall sometime when I bought it. It wasn't nothing new. It was just one of her old hoodie jackets she used when she go to gym.
Okay. And in terms of, if you know, the condition of that hoodie on the 9th, was it torn, ripped, damaged in any way?
No, it was fairly good. Like, kind of like still new, because she took pretty good care of her things.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
May I approach you?
Yes.
I'm approaching with People's Proposed Exhibit 12. Ms. Harris, do you recognize what I just handed you?
Yes,
And is that a picture of Ziyah?
yes.
And do you know when that picture was taken?
The same day, January the 9th, she took this picture.
Move to admit People's Proposed 12.
Any objection?
Objection.
It'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 12.
And when you dropped Ms.
And we'll look at this in a minute, but the reason they're asking about the hoodie is because the hood of the hoodie appears to have several rips in it. But like I couldn't see him stabbing her in the head. Like I think that was done by animals or something in the river, maybe.
Ziyah off at J.E. Clark, what was the routine supposed to be after school was over?
Okay, well, school was over, the bell rings at 2:40. Ziyah was due to come home. And normally when the bell rings,
Yep, Susie.
2:40, 2:45, she's getting on the bus.
And was that's what she normally did on other days?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes. I'm sorry,
And
yes.
what time would she normally arrive back at home?
The Ziyah would be walking in through the door maybe 3:05, no later than that.
And on January 9th, did she walk in at 3:05?
No, she did not.
And were you home when she didn't come home?
I was there for a little while, but I left out to run some errands. But no, when I got to the house, she was not there.
Leah said Ziyah was a good student and so pretty, had no chance with this family. I know I've seen that she was a straight A student. She did really good. They described her as a rule follower. Like this little girl was going places. And then this monster stepped in and groomed her. And I talked about yesterday, we need to be lifting these children up so that if, God forbid, somebody does approach them, they don't feed off of low self-esteem and their need and want to be seen. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to feel special. We need to make sure we're doing that for these children. Make them feel seen, make them feel heard, make them feel beautiful, handsome, whatever, female or male, whatever. Just we need them to know that they're special and know their worth so that it's harder for these predators to get a hold of these children. And some of you, I'm trying to figure out a day because I'm going to do a fundraiser for Madeline, I think on her birthday. And I'm trying to figure out a day to do a fundraiser for Ziyah. And I'm going to donate whatever funds are raised on that day to the after school program for Ziyah. And then for Maddie, I'm going to do it to the school, specifically chorus if I can. But I don't know a date to do it for Ziyah. So if y'all know of any date we could do a fundraiser for Ziyah, let me know. Like a day that was special for her. I know her birthday was September 26th.
And at that time, did you have a conversation with someone else about her not coming home, Ziyah not coming home?
Yeah, when I picked my children up from the after school program, I went in and my daughter said,
Objection to what I've said from the hearsay.
I'll rephrase the question.
Okay, so thank
Just talking about what you saw and heard, and not asking for what anybody said, but did you talk to Shannon, your daughter?
yes, Shannon said she was not there.
When you got home that day on the 9th, wasn't Ziyah there?
No.
And did you eventually make a police report about her missing?
Yes, I did. Yes,
And when did you do that?
That morning when I got to school, I went up and dropped the kids off to school. I talked.
Why are you waiting until the next morning to report this child missing? Like she didn't come home that night. Are you not concerned? Where is my child at? Where is she sleeping? Where is she at? She hasn't called me. She hasn't contacted me. It's nighttime. If she's outside, she's alone in the woods, cold and alone and afraid. Why are we not looking? Why are we not calling in help that night? That night, I could understand possibly waiting until later in the evening in case she came home, but then you're going all damn night and this child is not there. What? Can somebody please explain that to me? Because I don't understand. Where do you think she's at, ma'am?
Talk with the dean and the principal, and I told them that I was on my way to the police station. And they told me that they would call the police, and the DPS police came there.
And you said DPS, is that Detroit Public Schools?
Yeah.
And did you talk to an officer at that time at the school.
Yes, I did.
And was that at J.E. Clark physically at that location?
Yes,
And you said that morning, are you talking about the morning of the 10th?
yes.
Was Ziyah active on social media, if you know?
Well, as far as I know, she was. I mean, there were times that she was sneaking on it, but yeah, she was.
Okay. And did you keep track of her social media pages like TikTok or Facebook or anything like that?
I tried, a lot of times, I would take her phone and stuff from her, so, to keep her from being on there,
And after the 9th, did you ever see any posts made by Ziyah?
I didn't see any posts. Most of the time, if there was a post or something, or she posts, my daughter or someone would call me and tell me.
Have you ever heard after the 9th, any communication or seen Ziyah?
No, I'm not sending any when we do the fundraising stuff, I'm not sending money to anybody's family. It's going to be to what the child like. Maddie like chorus, so I'm going to try to make it to the chorus class in Maddie's school. If not, then just Maddie's school. And I'm going to try to find out that after school program that Ziyah went to, and that's where I want to send it to. When we do the fundraiser, that's where I want to send the funds for Ziyah's, whatever we raise. I've got to make a Cash App because when we did the fundraising for the people in Western North Carolina, YouTube took half of it, but I still donated the entire $650 we raised that day. But yeah, I got to call some places and get that stuff and make a Cash App or something so that that'll be specifically for fundraising. And then we'll work with that. And of course, I would make a video basically providing the receipts that all the money went there. Hey, Dreams99, thank you for being here. Dreams99 says, this case breaks my heart. So many people failed this young lady. They did. It's horrible. Hey, Boomer. Good to see you, love. I have a lot of questions. It seems very generational. I wish somebody would have helped with this trauma instead of letting the cycle continue.
Ziyah?
Yeah, I'll make.
When is that a no?
No.
And when you dropped her off on the
That
9th
girl.
at school at J.E. Clark, was that the last time you saw her?
Yes.
May I have one more question?
Yes.
Just to follow up, I did forget to ask this. Her bus stop, how far from your house was that in walking distance?
5 minutes.
And do you know where the location that she got dropped off at was, the address or the intersection?
Right there at a 3 Mile Drive in Cornwall.
And that's 5 minutes from your house?
Yeah.
And did Ziyah have any nicknames that people called her?
Where her family called her Tutu, but I've always called her Glamorous. I've been calling her that ever since she was born.
Is it Glamour?
Glamorous.
Oh. May I have one more question?
Yes. You said Tuda?
Tutu. Mm-hmm.
That's sweet that she called her Glamorous, that she had a little nickname for her. That is cute. I'm with you, Boomer.
I know the question.
Okay.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Now, you are Ziyah's maternal grandmother, right?
Correct.
You're also her adopted parent, right?
Correct.
And you said you adopted her in 2016?
Yeah, should have been 16.
Okay. Is her birth mother still around?
She is.
Okay. Does she have a relationship with her?
No.
She doesn't have any type of relationship, no contact with her that you know of?
Well, let me say this. I don't deal with my daughter, so she really didn't have no contact with Ziyah like that. She only came around now and then.
Okay. And you testified that you currently stay on Bedford Street?
Yes.
In fact, I think you testified you live on 2 houses on Bedford Street.
Correct.
And did Ziyah have friends on Bedford Street that you were aware of?
She had friends, but her friends didn't live on Bedford.
Okay. Do you know if she ever had any friends over?
No.
Did she ever spend the night at any of these friends' houses?
No.
And at your prior neighborhood, did she have friends that she may have spent the night over?
No.
You indicated that there are approximately 6 children in the house?
Well, not now. When he asked me about the address,
Yes.
I lived at 2 houses, which is on the same street of Bedford.
Okay.
Okay, so the house that we lived in before, it was my children and my daughter's children.
Your daughter being Shannon?
No, Marquita.
Marquita,
Mhm.
okay.
Leah said Butts has over 30 children, never uses protection. Disgusting man. He should remove his mask in court. He should remove his mask. I heard that he had 13. That's interesting that you have a number of 30. I've heard that there was like 20, but from what I've heard, there's 13 per court testimony, which is what I have to go with, unless I can find some kind of other documentation to prove that. Now, I would say those are the ones that are known about, but if he's messing around with all these other women, I mean, he definitely could have more than we're aware of. In the end, no matter what happened, we can't change the past, but look at least for justice. Children need justice. They do. These children are forgotten. Mallory said, this grandma all nonchalant, pissing me right off. Yeah, me too. Oh, again, real quick, this video is from Justice is a Process. They are pinned at the top of the comment section and in the description box below. Please give them a like and subscribe.
And did Ziyah have any close relationship with any of these children particularly?
She was close with my granddaughter, one of my granddaughters, yeah.
Which granddaughter is that?
Ziyah. I mean, Janiyah.
Okay.
All of their names are similar.
And Janiyah is Shannon's daughter?
Yes.
That would be Jarvis's daughter as well, correct?
Correct.
And at your Guilford Street address, how many adults live there?
Just me and Shannon.
Okay. When did Shannon move in?
I'm sorry.
When did Shannon move in to Bedford?
Oh, I guess back in last October or something.
That would be October of 23?
Yeah.
Okay. So in January of 24, she was there, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, is that yesterday?
Yes. Yes.
You know, Anne says they should remove something else on Butts. I feel like these predators that do this, I feel like just give surgery and remove everything. And like they have to sit down to pee. That would be good enough. That would be good enough for me. Take away their manhood and their dignity because of all the children that they've taken away their dignity from. It's possible. She is so matter of fact about everything, Rachel. Boomer says, this grandmother is not who she's presenting to be. Her daughter Shannon started having babies at 13. I mean, it's generational. If it's happened to you and it's accepted by you, then the children aren't going to be any different. The children aren't going to understand that this is wrong. This is not how it's supposed to be. That's why I wish there was some kind of help these people could have gotten, this family. I wish there was some kind of counseling. I think they all still need counseling. And I think everybody that failed this child needs to be held accountable because she was failed in so many ways. Madeline was failed too, but not as drastically as Ziyah was.
And you indicated that Ziyah participated in social media?
She did. She did participate in social media. She was on social media a lot of times when she wasn't supposed to be.
Okay. So did you see her post or did you follow her post?
I didn't see her really posting anything. I mean, at times when I did check, I didn't find anything.
Okay.
And most of the time, if she did post something, my daughter's then would, let me know, if she posted something.
So you don't know who her social media friends were?
The only person that I know that.
So that tells me you're not really paying attention, especially if your daughter, if she's active on social media, she probably posts a lot, but your daughters are letting you know that she posted something. That means it's something inappropriate, something that shouldn't be posted because it's concerning enough that her daughters came to her and said, hey, grandma, Or, hey, mama, did you see what Ziyah posted? Look at this. And then Ziyah gets in trouble. You weren't aware of every post. You were just aware of the inappropriate post. What inappropriate post was she making? What posts were made and what were they talking about that it was to the extent that your daughters, who are also in a psychological abuse and generational abuse situation, were concerned enough to come to you and say, look at what Ziyah posted? Hey, Jeep Sahara, it's good to see you. People are saying that. I can't validate that, so I'm not going to say that she had her that grandma had her first child at 11. I don't know. I'd have to validate it, but that's what people are saying. Hey, Smoky Mountain Mermaid.
That was one of her classmates that she would post little things with one of her little classmates.
Okay. But it's fair to say there are some things you did not know.
Yeah, well, some, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kelly, I got pregnant at 18 and had my daughter 3 months after I turned 19, and that was still too young. I thought I knew everything, and I didn't. It was too young, for sure.
Now, you indicated that you drove Ziyah to school every day, correct?
Correct.
Who else went to school with Ziyah?
My other two children, Shannon's children.
Okay. And what type of student was Ziyah?
Ziyah was a very good student.
And
very
was
memorable,
going
very outgoing. She got good grades. Her attendance was good. The teachers had no problem with her. They really liked Ziyah. Ziyah got along with just about anybody. She was very likable.
Did she have any disciplinary problems?
No.
Do you recall her ever getting into a fight?
She did.
One fight, more than one fight?
This child had had wonderful grades. She was going places. And this man groomed and sexualized this child, and she is no longer here. She was going places. Imagine what she could have been. She was in 8th grade with still straight A's. Like, that's really amazing. That's really good to be in a higher, it's good anyway, but especially in a higher upgrade where it gets harder to learn and understand the material. She was very intelligent. She was very smart, very kind, very loving from what I've heard. She was going places. And this monster saw her as the sexualized whatever he made up in his head and groomed this child. And now she's no longer here. That's a lawyer or a doctor or whatever she was going to be that is not going to be anymore because of this person. It makes me so angry.
There was a young lady that she had a couple of consultations with in school, and it was like an ongoing situation.
Okay. And when did this first start?
I'm not quite sure when it started, but it was like off and on, with this particular schoolmate that she had.
And this is for her current school, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Another good point from Susie Q. Imagine all that trauma going on at home and she was still maintaining honor roll. Exactly. It's the things I would do to that man if I got 5 minutes alone.
Now, did Ziyah participate in any extracurricular activities? Was she on band or anything?
She liked it, gym, robotics, art. I mean, she liked a lot of things that she was, involved in,
And would any of these things cause her to have stayed after school?
The only time she stayed after school is when she wanted to be enrolled in the after school program.
Just one.
Leah said, instead the grandma told Ziyah to clean up the garage for Butts. Why didn't the grandma send the son to clean the garage? Especially
Step back a moment. We actually
if he's a known predator.
about her social media. You said there were some things that you were we're on social media, correct? Did you ever
Sorry,
check her
Smoky
direct
Mountain.
messages?
What's going on?
Like I said, I did, but when I did, there was nothing on there.
Oh, no.
No.
Okay. Did you monitor any of her conversations?
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, Smoky Mountain. I'll keep you and your husband in my prayers. Y'all say a prayer for Smoky Mountain if you pray, or send her some good vibes if you don't.
Yeah, I would, go check,
Okay.
But like I said, a lot of times, I took Naziah's tablet, from her, at one point, so there was really nothing that I knew of that she was on unless she got somebody's cell phone or something.
So you did mention that she had a tablet. How many devices did she have that allowed her to connect to social media?
Jeep Quentin was Leilani's twin. I'm trying to get more information on that. I'm hoping to drop some videos on that case. That case was horrible too.
Had that one tablet that I had bought her, and like I said, I took that tablet and put that tablet up.
I saw that, Boomer.
So on January 9th, you took her to school, correct?
Correct.
And you said it was her and two of your other children? That went to
My two other children and my daughter's children. I dropped them all off.
And you said that you noticed that she did not come home at her normal time.
Correct.
All right. You did not call the police then, correct?
No. Driving around looking for her.
Did you
My
really?
daughter reached out to some of her classmates. I did nothing. And that morning, I got up and like I said,
It's concerning with all the I would like to know if she really drove around, if she really looked. Because again, your child's not coming home all night. The first thing I'm going to think is, God, they're stuck in the woods. It's cold. They're going to freeze. What if they're scared? What if they have nothing to eat? What are they going to eat? Like, that would be my thoughts for my child, my bonus children, the neighbor's child, the bully up the street, all of the children. They're not coming home. We need to figure something out. We need to get the police and all of their technical equipment and find this child. This child's cold, scared, alone, hungry. We need to find them. Why? I don't understand why you didn't say anything. You wait till the next morning. Even if you thought they ran away, it doesn't matter. You still need to find them. You still need to locate them.
like I said, I went straight to the school, and from there I was on my way to the police station to make the report, and
I hope so, girl.
called the police from there. DPS police came to the school.
So the first report you made to the police was the next morning?
Yes.
Do you know approximately what time?
School starts at 7:30, so I got there at 7:30. They got there about, I don't know, maybe 8.
So you didn't go to the precinct, you went to the school, and the school called police?
Yes, they called the police because I was getting ready to leave, and the dean said, "No, stay here." She said, "And we'll call the police."
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you are familiar with Mr. Butts, correct?
I know Mr. Butts.
Okay. And he dated your daughter Shannon, correct?
Correct.
They did have 5 children, correct?
Correct.
I think it's
And did all the children stay with you and Shannon?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I don't want to give too much detail on the kids. What were the mix, boys and girls?
Can you repeat that?
What were the mix of the kids, boys and girls?
Well, I have a boy and girl, and Shannon has her 3 boys and her 2 girls.
So she had 3 boys and the 2 girls. Okay. And at any time, now I think you did indicate that Mr. Butts would come over, and I think you said he would rarely come in, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But he would come in on occasion, correct?
Not really on occasions, because most of the time when he came in, he would pull up in my driveway, and my daughter would go out to the truck, and a lot of times the kids will go out to the truck. So it was very rare if he ever came in my house.
And you indicated that you were close. You were close with Ziyah?
Yes.
That's weird to me. Why is he not coming in your house? Is it because you know something that you're not telling everybody? Is it because you knew something that you're not telling everybody, like his charges, and you didn't want him in your house? You didn't respect him enough to be in your house? And if you didn't respect him enough to be in your house, why are you sending Ziyah to go clean the shop? If you didn't respect him enough to even trust him in your house, how do you respect him enough to trust him with your child? Leah said the grandmother had locks on the fridge and made the children have breakfast at school instead of home. My goodness. That's crazy. Leah said Butts was in the house basement, though, having relations with Ziyah. Rachel said the texts say different, Grandma. The texts say he was in the house. Y'all are laying it out. Jenny said she's lying. He was in the home and in that house. Uh-oh.
Yes.
Why are you lying now on the stand? I haven't seen the text messages. I've heard about like the extractions, but I haven't specifically heard about the text messages or seen them specifically yet. Why are you lying on the stand if he was in the house?
Can you think of any reason that Ziyah would not share information with you?
No.
Most grown
Ziyah
children
would come to
don't.
me and talk to me all the time. If something was bothering her or if she had a bad day in school, you know, she'll come to me and we'll sit and talk about it. You know, I always kept the door open for communication with Ziyah and with really all of my children. So she always felt free, you know, to come to me and sit down and talk to me about whatever.
So if something was frustrating Ziyah, she would come with you?
She would, that I know of, yes.
Right. If something was scaring Ziyah, she would come to you.
If something was bothering her or she was frustrated about something, she'll come to me and say, hey, man, can I talk to you?
If there was any medical condition, she would come to you regarding that?
I believe she would, yes.
You take her to the hospital, take her to the doctor?
Yes.
Okay. Just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw the video yesterday where Shannon appears to say that they think Ziyah is pregnant. She took a pregnancy test. The line was faint, so she gave her another pregnancy test. And she was showing, supposedly, but nobody said or did anything.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Can you redirect?
Ms. Harris, I just have a couple more questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
When Mr. Riggins was asking you questions, you said that Mr. Butts would come and sit in his car, right? Outside your house?
Yes.
And he said that the kids would go out to the car.
Yes.
Which kids would go out to the car?
His kids.
Would Ziyah ever go with his kids out to the car?
If Shannon was out there, she would.
Oh. And Mr. Riggins also asked you about the tablet that he bought with Ziyah.
Yes.
Remember those questions?
Yes.
And when, if you can remember, narrow that down, when did you buy that tablet for her?
I bought that tablet for her one Christmas. I think it was I think it was in 22 when I bought that tablet at the end of 22.
Boomer said she has the nerve to say they have prayers in the morning as part of a routine, but you hear her cussing at those kids in the morning when they are getting ready for school. My goodness. My goodness. Veronica said, yeah, the nerve people have to lie when an unalive child is involved and enraging to me so bad. Yeah, it enrages me too. So grandma knew Ziyah was pregnant. Supposedly, I mean, if Shannon's given her pregnancy test and the line is faint, if she was talking about Ziyah in that video, I didn't hear her say specifically Ziyah. A lot of people say she did. That's what it seemed like to me. And they say that there's pictures where she looks pregnant. Okay. She told Jarvis, or she missed her period. I think it was October or November. And this was now January. So she would be starting to show. Now, to be fair, you could pass it off as maybe she was gaining a little weight or something. It depends on how she looked. Like sometimes you can tell that it's a pregnancy very easily with women in the first couple of months. Sometimes you can't. If they're real skinny, a lot of times if they start getting bigger, you can tell it's a pregnancy. If they're not real skinny, then it's harder to tell. They look like they might have just gained weight. So I don't know, but it wouldn't be that hard to put two and two together, especially if Shannon knew something. Shannon's going to say something to her mama, especially if she lives with them and they're close. Susie Q said they're all lying. No one was there for that girl. She was asking Jarvis to buy her pads before she got pregnant. God almighty. God almighty. Real quick, Leah said, Butts has damaged so many children and lives. Women helped him do so, though. And Sahara said, Grandma knew Butts picked Ziyah up from school. It was in the text messages.
When I bought that tablet for her.
So December of 22.
Yeah, I think when I bought that tablet.
So she would have had that tablet for roughly just over a year then, correct?
Correct.
And did Ziyah also have access to a cell phone?
The only cell phone she had access to was one of the cell phones when my oldest daughter came to visit me. She gave to Ziyah,
Okay,
but,
so Chaz Smith said, I saw the video, but I did not see signs of pregnancy. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I appreciate it because I have not seen it. So I trust you if you saw it and you didn't see signs of pregnancy. I appreciate you letting me know. So maybe she wasn't obviously pregnant. There is a possibility grandma didn't know if she's not obviously pregnant. But you had this known predator around them. And you're lying if the text messages say that he was in that house. Hey, Tanika. Tanika said, I have 5 kids. This baby was pregnant. Poor child. Yeah, she would text Jarvis begging for pads and foods. That is heartbreaking. That is absolutely heartbreaking. Right, bad girl?
She can only use it by Wi-Fi.
You said your oldest daughter, is that Ziyah's
Mother?
Yes. Okay. And through, what's your oldest daughter's name?
Kenya Harris.
Through Kenyatta Harris, Ziyah got access to a phone?
Mm-hmm.
Is that yes?
Yes.
Mr. Reagan's also asked you about Ziyah staying after school. You said that there was an after-school program she was involved in?
Yes.
On January 9th and in January of 24, was she still involved in that program?
No, I took her out of it because she was having problems with one of her schoolmates at that time. The same person that he asked me about before that she didn't get along with.
The same person just.
You took her out of the one thing that made her happy, that kept her out of that damn house for a little bit longer each day, or however many days it was. You took her out of an after-school program that brought her joy and was her only escape for however many days a week out of that house when she wasn't in school. Okay.
So Mr. Reagan's asked you.
Absolutely.
And so on the 9th, she was not supposed to stay after school.
No, she was supposed to come straight home.
But she didn't, and you didn't do shit.
And when she didn't come home, you said that you were driving around looking for her. Correct?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what efforts you made on the night to locate her?
When I went to the school to go pick my son and daughter up because they were also in the after school program, picked them up, went back to the house. I thought she was there, and
why are these 2 children allowed to be in the after school program, but Ziyah is not? Because she's picking them up from an after school program.
When I got to the house and I found out that she wasn't there, I got back in the car and I went back up to the school. And by that time, nobody was there. Nobody was at the school. So now, I'm kind of like, I'm frustrated. Now I'm going like, because whenever she wants to stay after school or do something, she would always call me. Hey, Nana, can I stay after school? Or she would call one of her TTs, hey, TT, can I stay after school? So that wasn't what like her. So I'm really frustrated now. So now I go back to the house and I'm talking to my daughter, Shannon.
I want to stop you right there because I don't want to go into what anybody else said.
Okay.
But you went back to the school. Nobody was at school. You went back to the house. Ziyah is still not there, correct?
Correct.
Did you go back out looking for her after that?
I did.
Where did
you? I'm just looking, just like hoping I'll see her,
I like how that answer wasn't accurate. The neighborhood, I'm driving around everywhere. It seems like something you would say if you wanted somebody to believe that. Now, it could be true. To be fair, she could be just saying, I drove everywhere looking, and it actually be true. But I don't like it. I don't like those use of words because a lot of times if people are lying, they're going to say something like that. I drove everywhere. I went everywhere. I looked everywhere. I don't like it. This poor child had so much stress at a young age. She did, Leah. So much stress that was she should not have had. She had enough stress. She should have only been stressed out about keeping her grades up. That should have been it. Susie Q said Ziyah was stressing out before she went missing because her stomach was starting to get in the way and she was worried she was going to fail physical education and her baggy sweatshirts weren't working anymore. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. Oh, I try to be. I hope that we can get justice for these mods, justice for my mods, because I put them through hell sometimes, but justice for these children. We're very passionate, and thank you for the comment, Chaz.
On the 9th, when you were looking for her, well, let me ask you this way. Did you know Ziyah to go to Mr. Butts' place of work to assist him with anything there?
Yes, there was a couple of times that she went with his daughter and they went up there to go clean up at his shop.
And how would they get there? If you remember?
He would come and pick them up.
And was that in that white truck that you talked about?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And did you yourself know where Mr. Butts worked at?
Why is he coming to pick them up? And he's a predator, and he's coming to pick up children to go clean the shop. Like, why? I don't like that either. Like, don't get me wrong, my kids do chores. Like, I believe in children having responsibilities that they take care of. But I don't like the fact that he's picking them up to go clean the shop up. I was thinking that he was like showing them how to work on cars or something like that, or saying he was when he was taking them there. It could be nothing. I could be seeing too much into it, or it could be something. Again, real quick, this video is from Justice is a Process. They're pinned at the top of the chat box, and they're in the description box as well. Rachel said, in reference to Boomer, I'm afraid, sadly, that's the case. Oh, goodness. I hope not. I really hope not. I try to be careful talking about things like that because I don't know. I wasn't there. Everybody's needed assistance from time to time, but I wish there had been some counseling or therapy or trauma assistance as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know, where is that?
It was a Frank's shop located on East Warren.
And is that the last place that you knew him to work, or did you know him to work somewhere else?
I knew him to work there, and then the shop moved to a different location.
Did you know where that new location was?
Personally, no.
Okay. And did you ever, on the 9th, did you ever try and go to Mr. Butts' place of work to look for Ziyah?
On the 9th, no.
Nothing further, Justin.
Ms. Harris, we're done testifying. Watch your step.
Okay.
If you know that them children go there to help him out, why didn't you go to that shop? Why was that not one of the places you would check? Again, I mean, I'm questioning if she did go out, because you would go to the place, like the places like that they're known to be. If you know that she does work at this shop or she helps him sometimes, why wouldn't you check there? Why wouldn't you think, well, maybe she's going to clean the shop and I just didn't know, or he forgot to tell me, she forgot to tell me, whatever. Maybe that's what's going on. Like, why wouldn't you check the shop? I hate when this happens and I have to do it like this. Okay. This next video is also from Justice is a Process. Hold on just a second. This is what their profile picture looks like. This is going to be the aunt testifying, Miss Shannon, the woman who has children with Mr. Jarvis. Please give Justice is a Process a like and subscribe. They're in the description box as well as pinned at the top of the chat box. This is from them. I greatly appreciate them getting this information, and I'm borrowing it from them. Please give them a like and subscribe.
Once speaking through this mic, you also pick it up and open it out.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Ripley.
I'm going to make sure this is sped up to 1.25 real quick so we can get through this today. It indeed is. Ali X said, Butts' parole officer wouldn't want him around those kids either. Yep. Exactly. Leah said grandmother was not bothered about Ziyah, but we care about Ziyah. A lot of people care about her. I'm hoping that she gets the justice she deserves and that everyone that's responsible is held accountable. Boomer said, I know not all homes receiving government assistance are like this. My mom was a single mom getting help, but I grew up with God and good values and morals. Yeah, just because you get government assistance doesn't mean anything. I've gotten it and used it. You know, I try not to bring that into it because it's needed in a lot of households. But I just wish there had been some trauma. So this generational abuse and thinking that it's okay if that's what they thought could have been addressed and something might have changed. Susie Q said, I'm sure I'm 100% there too. Young girls getting picked up and taken to a car shop to clean up, but young boys don't go there. That's not even considering he's a convicted sex offender, convicted children offender. Yeah. Why? I think she said that Nazaya and a boy would go there to clean up and stuff, but like, and why didn't you check there if you know she goes there? Thank you so very much, Annie, for the memberships. I really appreciate that. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. I want to check my channel and see if I can pull up where it went. I have to do it on my phone. If you guys were gifted a membership from Annie, please tell her thank you, and I'll come pick y'all up on the crazy train and take y'all on down to Speculation Station. I really appreciate that, Annie. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. Thank you so much, Annie. That was so very sweet. Let me see. It says Crystal, this Susan, Vala, Lisa, and Patty were gifted. Thank you so much for that. That was so sweet. I like Sarah's what she says, my mod. She says, choo choo bitches, hop on this crazy train to Speculation Station. Hold on tight and smash the like button. Scoot over and stay seated for this wild ride. I love that. That is so cute. Hey, Michelle. I don't know if I said hey to you recently. Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, hey, Bogart. Basil is laying right behind the rock.
Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Shannon Harris.
And Ms. Harris, how old are you?
31.
And back on January 2024.
I'm interested in hearing what she has to say. I haven't heard it yet. It was Nazaya and her 9-year-old cousin who reported seeing the SA, and Jarvis Butts tried to do it to her, and she said no. Boomer, I had heard that. I had heard that he tried to groom other girls, but if they said no, he would leave them alone. But again, you take a situation where they're in a house and they feel like they're just a number. They're not seen. They're not valued for their individualization. And you give somebody that's giving them attention, money, all of the things. Of course, they're going to fall for it. They're going to crave. She craved that attention, affection, money. So it was easy for him to groom her. That's why we got to lift these children up and let them know how special they are. So it's not as easy. Take them and do something special with them. Tell them how wonderful they are all the time till they get sick of hearing it. So that it's harder if somebody does approach them for them to be swayed.
Where did you live?
With my mom. Resides with my mother.
With your mother? Okay. Who's your mom?
And then Harris.
I'm sorry, it's jumpy.
And without telling me the exact address, what street did you live on?
That.
And do all your kids have the same dad?
Yes.
Who's their dad?
Jarvis Butts.
And do you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom?
I don't know why it's jumpy like that. I'll put it on normal speed to try to get it from jumping and then go back to 1.25. So this is the woman who has 5 children, possibly 6, with Jarvis, who they think could have possibly had something to do with the unaliving of Nazaya Harris. This is from Justice is a Process. They're linked at the chat box and the description box. Please give them a like and subscribe. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
Green. Well, whatever. Green.
Green. Your Honor, would the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant in this case?
So reflected.
Thank you, Judge. And you said your mom's name is in that. Do you have any sisters?
Yes, 2.
What are their names?
Kenyatta Harris and Marquita Harris.
I think it's jumpy on their end, so I'm going to speed it back up because the banner at the bottom seems to be going normal speed. So,
Are they older, younger, something else?
Older. Marquita is a twin. She's my twin, same age.
Okay. And Kenyatta's older?
Yes.
Do you have any nieces or nephews?
Yes.
Do you know someone named Ziyah Harris?
Yes.
What's your relationship to her?
My relationship to her, she is my niece. I'm her aunt.
Okay. And whose daughter is she?
My older sister is Kenyatta Harris.
And did you have any nicknames for Ziyah?
Yes. We all called her Tuh.
And is that Tuda?
Yes.
And did Ziyah ever know Jarvis through you?
Yes.
And when did Ziyah and Jarvis first meet?
Well, she was little, like age 2.
Oh God.
And can you kind of describe the relationship between Ziyah and Jarvis?
Should be just the uncle and the niece relationship, no more than that.
It should be, but it
How
wasn't.
often would Jarvis
But it
be
wasn't.
around, like at your house?
But it wasn't. And you saw text messages. You knew it should be, but it wasn't. Already pissing me off. Susie Q said, there's that text he sent to Ziyah about her cousin just laying there saying that no, and that he didn't want to have relations with her cousin again, that he wants Nazaya. It was awful. Made my eyes water. Oh my God. I'm sure we'll hear it. Bazzer, thank you for the support. I really appreciate that. And it's good to see you, love. I was actually looking for you. Thank you so much. Bazard said these people are just monstrous, just as monstrous as Jarvis. If they knew what was going on, if they did see those text messages, yeah, they are. It really irritated me how she just said it should have been uncle and niece, but it wasn't. But it wasn't.
Your house with you.
He will call or say, can he come see the kids? Or the kids will ask him to see their dad. And he will come pull up either to my house where I used to live or at my mother's house.
Would Ziyah ever be around?
All the kids would be around.
To your knowledge, would Ziyah ever text Jarvis?
From my knowledge, no, unless I will have her to text.
But to your knowledge, you didn't know of any kind of separate outside relationship?
No.
But she was using her phone, and it was stated in the videos we watched yesterday that sometimes you couldn't tell if it was the aunt texting Jarvis or Nazaya texting Jarvis. So you know she used your phone to text him, but are saying no unless I had her text him. Okay.
No.
Would there ever be times where where did you know Jarvis Butts to work?
Pardon?
Where did you know Jarvis Butts to work?
Where did I know him to work at?
Yes.
He worked at 2 different locations. The first location would be on East Warren, and the other location would be on Bradford and Connor.
And what were those locations?
Those are the auto repair shop.
Okay. Would you ever know
Bazard, I dropped the link for you, honey, if you wanted to come up.
Ziyah to help Jarvis Butts at his shop?
Yes, he will call me and say, hey, if I can get our daughter and Ziyah come and work up at the shop. And I would say, let me ask my mom first regarding that.
Why is it just the girls? Why is it Nazaya and the other girl? Hey, Bazard, it's good to see you.
Hey, is my volume or anything else good?
Yeah, it appears to be fine.
Good. It's just been work on my end. I haven't been able to panel up for the last few streams.
Yeah, I hope everything's going good at work.
Oh, it's good. It's just workload after workload. But yeah, I'm glad to. Well, I wouldn't say I'm glad to be on this particular case, but I got a lot to say, a lot of curse words, but I'll keep it at a minimum.
All right. If you want me to pause so you can talk, just let me know.
Yeah. But I was to say with the aunt right here, my whole theory on this whole particular case is that yes, people are saying that there's probably a family history of trauma, but I think a lot of it comes down to the family had issues with her mom, and then I guess in my personal theory, they took it out on Nazaya. I always almost say her name wrong sometimes. And yeah, and for whatever reason, the family knew that they were harboring a pedophile and just let it happen.
I think that they knew they were harboring a pedophile. I've heard a lot of people say they took their anger out on Ziyah. What makes y'all think that?
It comes down to the mom. It was just, I guess the way I can describe it, because I grew up in a situation like this. Not every black family has situations like this, but a particular set do. And I grew up in a situation like this where we had relatives who were shady / questionable, and for whatever reason, the other relatives would just vehemently badmouth them, always put them down. And in her mom case, there were some questionable things about her, and it just looked like they just took it out, other than taking Ziyah away from her, which I think probably had to be necessary anyway. It was more like they still wanted to punish that family member and then took it out on Ziyah. And unfortunately, I've seen that in my family and other people's families. So I don't know, it's a weird thing that I've seen in the community here and there.
Uh-huh.
So, but I feel like it could be in any kind of community where people, for whatever reason, take weird, bizarre vengeance. That's the best way I can describe it, in the families, and treat each other horribly.
Yeah, it's in all communities. But yeah, that's interesting, and I'm really sad to hear that. I don't know everything about this case, so I was wondering what the issues were.
It's very it's a still bizarre, situation where it's like with Potato for right now, she can say that she didn't know, but in this situation, it's clear as day that the family had a pedophile, and
Yep.
and unfortunately, Ziyah, had to get taken away from us. Yeah.
So sad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna warn y'all because I'm already getting mad with this woman, so hopefully I won't cuss, especially on a Sunday.
Trust me, I know. Her aunt is worse.
Yeah. I'm not real happy with her right now.
Mm-hmm.
Ziyah.
And which daughter of yours would that be?
That would be my oldest, Janiyah.
Would you ever know Ziyah to go to Jarvis's shop alone?
No.
I'm so sorry, Tadika.
Whose birthday is on or around September 26th?
That's my oldest. My fourth oldest birthday.
Do you recall a birthday party on September 26th of 2022?
Hey, Sarah, it's good to see you. Hope you're doing good.
Good to see you. I'm doing okay. I just
Hey.
wanted to hop up and say hey and make, the commentary, because I think a lot of us, including everybody in chat, kind of want to throw their phones or the remotes and, hopefully not break their TVs, because this is just, it's really infuriating.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the worst cases out there, where it's like clear as day the family knew what was going on, or at least certain members of the family knew.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I see a Bella's gifted, so you want to do your thing?
Yeah, I'll do that real quick. Thank you, Abella, so much for gifting 10 memberships. That was so very sweet of you and supportive. I really appreciate that, and I hope you're feeling better. I hope you got you some rest, love. If y'all were gifted from Abella's, please tell her thank you, and I'll come pick y'all up and take y'all to Speculation Station. I'll tell y'all in just a minute who they were gifted to. I got to get back into my live. You can go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, I do have kind of a personal family history that is, not to this degree, but, a little similar. I've got, I think I've told my story maybe a little bit. I had a few cousins that were abused, 3 boys abused sexually by a babysitter.
Oh,
and yeah, unfortunately, it took a while. I was real young. I was like 5. And unfortunately, it took the family a while to believe them, because they were boys, especially back then. This was in the early 90s. And back then, it's like boys can't get abused and this and that. But it really, it took a toll on the family once they finally actually believed them. And all three boys did counseling. And the youngest, I think, thankfully, he was really young and he doesn't remember it as much because he's around my age. But the two older boys, unfortunately, my cousin Johnny, he, at the age of 10, he ended up taking his own life, which is very, very tragic.
I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I was young, but it still affects my family. You know what I mean? It's just like, holy crap. And then my eldest cousin in that family, like, he ended up probably not getting the help he needed, and he like got in trouble because like he touched his stepsister, and he was like 16 or 17, and it wasn't like anything, it was wrong, I'm not, but his stepmom, the mother of the little girl, was a parole officer. So basically they took something that was, it was, horrible, but they blew it up. They charged him as an adult. He had to be a registered SO for a long time. And recently, like, he did time in prison and everything. Like, it was very bad for him, over something that he probably needed to be held accountable for, but probably needed a lot more therapy than anything. But he got the book thrown at him, and recently finally, got it to where his charges got, like, I think, reduced, and some of them got expunged, at least to the level that they were at. 'Cause it was like first degree, the worst of the worst. He didn't get the help he needed. I mean, now he's doing great. He's the one that's actually a skydive instructor, and he's got a couple kids now, and he's doing really well. But, it's like, my whole thing with this is like, if it gets stopped and it gets recognized, these young people can get the help that they need rather than going on, because if they're normalized by it, they're going to go and they're going to make the same horrible mistakes and think it's normal. And might, somehow end up going through what my cousin went through. One of them tragically took his life, and the other one, ended up doing something that he shouldn't have done and got the book thrown at him because of the situation he was in. And it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm very passionate about this because I know that these young people that go through this, they don't get the help they need, and it gets normalized, and it's like they're groomed, and then they become adults. It's like they're okay with it. Like, oh yeah, my 13-year-old daughter's pregnant, no big deal. It's like, wait a minute, like,
Right.
It's just like, oh, I had a kid when I was like 13. What's the big? No, it is a big deal. This isn't normal. This shouldn't be. Mistakes happen, horrible things happen, but to normalize it, it's like, that's the part that really gets me. And it seems, obviously I don't know the case as well as other people do, but in a way it kind of seems like that's what's going on here. Is it's like the family generational traumas that are being, put in their everyday lives, and they're told it's okay, and this is just what we do. And it's like, and unfortunately these kids in the cities, that may not have the opportunities that they deserve. Like, this young lady was just apparent, she was a little genius from what they're saying. She was getting great grades, and she could, like allegedly was saying, she could have been a doctor or a lawyer, and now we're never gonna know. And it's so tragic. Our babies, they deserve every opportunity in the world. And I'm not going to get into the whole race thing, but it's like, it's just it's tragic systematically. And it's just a whole thing that so many people just choose to ignore. Like, and then there's people, like what we're doing is we're, with the audience that you have, we're trying to get it out there. Like, no, this is not okay. This is happening to these kids, and these babies are not getting the help they deserve and the resources they deserve, and their families are just part of it. And, I don't know. it's like I said, it cuts deep to me because like I've seen it happen, in my life. The situation was obviously different, but it's yeah, ugh, it's
Yeah.
just so sad.
Yeah.
It is.
And I can
It is.
relate. Definitely relate.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Like I said, it was a long time ago, and it's funny, not funny, but I still actually talk about it in therapy because like it still affects me because like it's a big family secret too. I wasn't allowed to know. Like I was told it was a tragic accident, but when I became an adult, I like around 18, my parents sat me down and they're like, Johnny didn't accidentally, take his life. He did it on purpose, and I remember that day, like I was just devastated because it was devastating to begin with to lose such a young person in your family. But then hearing that they were so grief stricken by what happened to them, that they felt like that was their only option. And then, you've got like that, well, what if I would, I mean, I was only 5, but you know what I mean? Like, what if I could have helped him? What if I could have, told him it was okay? And it's not something you hear a lot about, but it happens a lot.
It does.
You see it younger and younger. It's just more broadcasted because of social media. Younger and younger. Like I'm scared for my daughter. She's 8, and she deals with bullying sometimes, and I'm just like, oh my God. She does have a therapist that she sees on a regular basis, which I am a big fan of therapy. Never, if you can do therapy, do not hesitate if you need it, but I'm just, with her health, her seizure condition and, the just kids being mean little bastards sometimes. I'm just like, I talk to her about it, age appropriate, of course, about, unaliving and people doing that to themselves. I'm like, that is never the answer, baby. Like, it's just something we have to be honest with our kids about if they're going through something too. Like this is just like this opens up a whole slew of things. And if anything can come from this beautiful little girl, this beautiful young lady, this tragic thing, like maybe, she didn't have to die in vain. Maybe this can be something where it brings awareness to what's going on. I know she didn't take her own life, but still, we bring awareness to the situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fully agree.
And I'm sorry for all of you. I see a lot of you in chat talking about, dealt with similar things, and it's really sad, and I hope that we can get some help.
Yeah, absolutely. Like don't hesitate to reach out to anybody. Like allegedly always says you can email her if you're on the Discord. There's a lot of us that put ourselves out there like, hey, you need somebody to talk to, type in chat. One of us will talk to you or message us directly because you never know what somebody is going through. You never know if somebody's having the worst damn day of their life in their own head or going through stuff outside of work or outside of school or outside of their family. So just don't hesitate. You need a friend and we'll show up for you.
Yeah, the members in Discord are awesome. If you guys ever need to talk, you can also email me. And I see just a lot of you talking about things like this. It is very prevalent, and we need to try to break the chains. We need to try to do something to try to let people know, that there's help and to seek help and that it's not acceptable. And again, that's my issue with this family, that it just seems to have been accepted over the decades.
Yeah, and if it's this family, that's more. There's so much more out there, and there's so many more kids that are suffering that don't need to be, that can have the help that they deserve and the resources that they deserve. And it's like sometimes they're just so scared to speak out because like what happened to my cousins, they spoke out and they got yelled at for it. They got smacked for it, essentially, like pervert kind of thing. Like, no, it's so sad. And talk to somebody at a school, talk to an adult that you trust, even if it somebody that you can get you help. If your parents are the parents are part of it, your family is in on it, what have you, find somebody that can get you help. Anybody.
Absolutely. Please. I mean, yeah, there's counselors, somebody is there that can help you. Please seek help.
Exactly.
I'm gonna continue playing this real quick. Heather,
Seven.
Petty, Beverly, Ruby, Bianca, Proud Fur Mom, Breezy, Red, Carolina, and Maggie, and Folly Beach Bobs were gifted. I like to tell y'all who was gifted. Thank you again, Abellis, for that. Yeah, it's hard because it seems generational, and I feel like I'm angry at the aunt, but I question if they understood how this was not acceptable and it was wrong, and how many other people are dealing with stuff like this and think that it's acceptable. I hope that everybody can get the help that they need, and please seek help if you're going through it. Hey, Miss O. All right, I'll go ahead and play this.
Yes.
And was Jarvis there?
No.
Okay. And that would have been his son's birthday party?
Yes.
Were there ever times that you would text Jarvis off of a text now number?
The only time I would text Jarvis off a text now number is if my phone is off. Other than that, no.
And do you recall the numbers that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
Okay. And does a 586-510-5161 sound familiar?
Yes.
And what number is that?
That used to be my old number.
And is that the number that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
And what about a 586-842-4504?
That was the number before this number.
Before the 510 number?
Correct.
Okay. And is that a number you would also text Jarvis from?
Correct.
And what number did you have for Jarvis Butts?
The 313-585-8719.
And did you have any numbers for Ziyah?
It was a funny looking area code. The area code was a 231.
Okay. I want to show you some messages from People's Exhibit 16 and ask you some questions about them, okay?
Okay.
You're in a man approach?
Yes.
I'm going to direct you to messages on or about June 27th of 2023. Do you recall those messages? Did you send any of those messages to Jarvis Butts?
No.
Okay. And do you know, I believe there's a phone number here that's highlighted. Whose phone number do you know that to be?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay. And you don't recall ever sending any of those messages?
No.
Okay. And now I want to direct you to.
But if they were on her phone, how did she not see them? How did she not know? I guess she would have deleted them. But she would have seen Ziyah using her phone.
Well, willfully ignoring.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of that going on, unfortunately. Willful ignoring. Sarah, you are so sweet and thoughtful and insightful, and I really appreciate you. I appreciate everybody.
For real.
Yeah,
Oh,
I really
thank you. You know, sometimes I feel that, you know, when you share your story, whether it's got a happy ending or outlook, you know, it might help somebody to know that they aren't alone. You know, this little girl, Ziyah, maybe she thought she was all alone in this. And, you know, like I said, she didn't take her own life, but she was probably feeling kind of helpless. And if she would have known that there was something, you know, that this wasn't right, this wasn't okay, and there was help and resources for her rather than, you know, her family normalizing it, you know, who knows, it probably could have had a better outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope that, you know, us talking helped somebody to understand that, to get help.
Oh, absolutely. You never know when your story can help somebody. Even if it's just one person hearing that you've gone through something similar and you survived. I think that's one of the big things is people survive these things, and even if you've been through horrible, horrible things, there are ways for you to get through them, whether it's therapy, psychiatric care in general, because, our brains are wired to heal themselves, but with help, because trauma damages the brain essentially. It messes up your wiring, and therapy and different types of therapy can rewire your brain to be healthy again, for you not to be in that constant defensive stage and that flight or, I've talked about this before, that flight, fight, freeze, fawn stage kind of thing. And, people have gotten through these things, and sometimes it takes somebody hearing another person talk about their survival story, and they're like, it inspires them to be like, hey, I can get through this. That was one of my things when I was married, and it was just not a good marriage. I was just very depressed, and my ex wasn't the greatest guy, and like, he had a lot of trauma he didn't heal from, so that makes people not very kind sometimes.
Yeah.
And I was very deeply depressed, and hearing from other people that they've been through similar things, and me going to therapy rebuilt my strength to be able to heal and move forward.
I'm really glad that you had that opportunity to hear other stories and get and move forward from that situation. And I'm glad you're not in that situation anymore.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I believe everybody, you're here for a reason, and and if you're, even if that reason is to just help somebody get through something, if you've touched somebody's life in a positive way, that's a huge deal.
Yeah, it is. And you never know whose life you could touch just by sharing your story and your situation.
From June 28th of 2023. How about any of these? Did you send any of these to Jarvis Butts?
No.
What about any messages from July 2nd, 2023? Did you send any of those messages?
No.
What about messages from August 26th, 2023? Did you send any of those to Jarvis Butts?
I'm sorry, August
August 26th.
No, these aren't my messages.
Again, I'm watching this from Justice is a Process. They're linked in the top of the chat section and in the description box. Please give them a like and subscribe. I don't like it either, Jenny. It irritates me, the snipping.
Did Jarvis Butts ever tell you that Ziyah texted him to meet up on January 9th, 2024?
No.
Did you tell Jarvis Butts about not being able to locate Ziyah on January 9th, 2024?
Yes.
And tell me, how did you tell him that?
I called him. He didn't answer. I sent him a message asking him have he seen Tuda any whereabouts, and I said no Tuda, and he responded back. Oh wow.
I didn't hear what you said. The last part.
Last part I had I texted him. Well, first I called him. He didn't answer. The second time I sent him a message, still no Tuda. He replied back, oh wow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Carolina, I'm glad that you were able to get him help.
And
Hey, allegedly.
Yeah, hold on just a second.
And
No problem.
Yes, ma'am.
I am going to hop down. I have a couple errands to run. We gotta get
Okay.
some soup because my boyfriend is sick again, and I'm
Oh,
getting
no.
over the ick. So I know it's just going around so
Oh.
bad. So we're gonna do some nice homemade soup to hopefully help get us and him especially feeling better. So
That
thank
Yeah,
you
make sure you.
so very much.
it
Yeah,
was
thank
nice.
you for coming up and sharing.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
nice
Make
meeting
sure
you,
you
Sarah.
get him some bone broth soup. That bone broth will help. What were you saying, Bazard? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, it was nice seeing you again, Sarah.
Nice seeing you too, Bazard, and allegedly, of course. Thank you, everybody, and I will see you all around.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.
It looks
I'm
like
so sorry.
it looks like I'll have to do the same on my end too, but it was nice
Okay.
just to pop in for a quick sec.
Yeah, thank you for coming up. I appreciate it. And it's good to see you. I'm glad to see you're okay. I hadn't seen you in a couple days, so I was worried, but I'm glad
Yeah.
everything's going good with work.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And everyone in chat, have a blessed day. Be safe, and God bless.
Yeah, you too, honey.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Jenna, I'm sorry that you went through that. I kind of went through some of the same things as well, but I don't talk about those things a lot. And yeah, that's generational. I should be more willing to talk about it. So yeah, again, I just hope that we can help break the chains of generational abuse like this. Jenny Peach said, "Don't people know how rude it is to sniff like this? It's going to drive you nuts." Yeah, I wish she would just blow her nose. That was so sweet. Chaz said, "God bless." And yeah, I hope that y'all all stay safe out there. I hope that y'all get better, Sarah. I hope everybody that's sick gets better. And thank y'all again for coming up.
And just for record references, I'm showing here what's going to be proposed People's Exhibit 48. Ms. Harris, those text messages that you just referenced, do you see those on this page?
Yes.
Okay. And so it's fair to say you stated to Mr. Butts, well, first of all, whose phone number is this at the top?
The phone number is my old telephone number.
Okay. And who is the phone number below that?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay. And is this, I guess, do these fairly and accurately represent these two messages? 3, 4, 5, 6 messages sent between you and Mr. Butts on January 9th, 2024 to January 11th, 2024.
The first page is, yes, it's correct. Second
If they're
page,
going to read these text messages, I'm going to go the hell off if I hear some craziness.
it's correct. Yes.
Okay. And so on January 9th, like you had indicated before, you had stated that you told him that there was still no tie-up.
Correct.
Okay. And you said he responded, "Oh, wow."
Correct.
Okay. And on January 11th, was the life still missing?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
At this point, I just asked that if she's going to read from the text message, she just initiated.
I can.
Issue with moving to admit?
No, Judge. These fairly and accurately represent text messages between you and your phone to Jarvis and his phone between, well, they start back earlier. Some from December 3rd, 2023 through January 21st of 2024. These fairly and accurately represent text messages between you and your phone to Mr. Butts and his phone?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, Rachel, that you're dealing with that.
Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 48. No check.
Okay, they'll be admitted.
Thank you, Judge. So on January 11th, did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
Yes.
And what is it that you asked him to do?
I asked him, can he share the missing flyer on his Facebook page?
Okay. And did you send him a copy of that missing flyer?
Yes.
Okay. And to backtrack just a little bit, on December 3rd, 2023, do you recall sending messages asking Mr. Butts if he needed Ziyah for anything?
Oh, yes, I do remember.
Okay. So do you remember this text on the first page of People's Exhibit 48?
Yes, I do remember this message.
Okay. And did you send that message?
Yes.
Okay. And what did the message say?
Tilla said, do you still need her too?
Okay. And do you know what is that referring to?
It was, Tilla had asked me to contact Jarvis and see if he still needed them to clean up.
Okay. And that would be to clean up his shop?
Yes.
Okay. And to fast forward, on January 21st, 2024, you sent some messages to Mr. Butts. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And can you read these last 3 messages?
These last 3 messages is, to be honest, these messages I seen into the inbox to you. I really don't know what to believe anymore. Stay away, Ramon. I mean it. The next message is, I don't know what to say, or Tilla is on. Says, this shit doesn't sit right with me. Call it what you want. I'm good, period. It says, this for life. Nigga, I thought about it, and you can pass it.
I was talking away. From Justice is a Process, I was able to get closed captions on. So I do appreciate that. I do want to give a trigger warning, because this is going to be some triggering language that's going to be used. And from what I've heard, these text messages are pretty graphic. So I do want to warn you about that. Justice is a Process is where I got this video. They're in the description box and linked in the chat box.
And don't call me. No need to explain shit. I already see it.
Okay. So you were referencing some messages that you saw in Tada's inbox.
Correct.
Tell me, how did you see some messages? Well, first of all, where these messages, where were they at?
The day of Officer Gardner came to pick up Ziyah's tablet. My mom asked me to put it on the charger. I put it on the charger. Officer Gardner, after that, Officer Gardner called and said she's on her way.
Did she just admit to seeing some graphic text messages between Ziyah and Jarvis Butts? Like, she said, I see what it is. I know what it is. Don't ever come around me again. I'm done with you. And she just said, is this in reference to messages that were in the nickname she had for Ziyah's inbox? Is she admitting to seeing those messages?
Without saying what?
Okay, I'm sorry. The officer had called and said that they was on their way to come pick up the tablet.
Okay.
Okay. So
Sustain, as far as you're saying.
yes, thank you, Judge. Okay, continue.
So before the tablet was picked up, I looked inside Tilla's tablet. She has 2 passwords that I normally know. So one of them is referenced for her brother's birthday, and the other one is referenced for my password. So I put the first password in, it didn't work. So I put the second password in. So the first thing I went to was Instagram, which I was scrolling. And I seen Jarvis Butts' Instagram page. I clicked on his page, and I seen 2 messages.
Okay. And what were the messages that you saw? Who were they between, first of all?
Ziyah, my niece, and Jarvis.
Okay. And what were the messages that you seen?
It was roughly 2 messages that I have seen that I can recall. States.
I'm going to check through this as hearsay. They have not been admitted, and the messages themselves will be the evidence. Were the messages of a sexual nature?
No.
Okay. And you said you saw 2 messages?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see anything else?
It was two sent pictures, but you can't really make anything out. There wasn't nothing there, but it was a picture was sent.
Okay. what did seeing those messages, what did they cause you to do?
Well, when I see no messages, I called him and Jarvis Butts.
Okay.
Called him while he was at work, asked him, what is these messages I seen between you and my niece? There's a picture. And he stated that, I don't know, these messages, I told him what the messages were, and he said it was probably our children was messaging him. And I stated no, because I know how our children will text.
Okay. And reading those messages, is that what caused you to text
Mr. Butts, yes.
Mr. Butts, in that you see the messages in the inbox and you don't really know what to believe anymore?
Correct.
Okay.
So supposedly this was after, or not supposedly, this factually was after Ziyah went missing, but that's still really concerning. The way she's presenting it is that she didn't know, and when she saw those text messages, she said not to come around anymore. But again, my thought would be, why not go to the police immediately? Why not ask your children? Like, you need to make sure nobody else has got anything going on. I mean, especially if you just found out he's messing with a 13-year-old.
So, Sharon, I want to take you back to January 9th. Were you home that day?
Yes.
Okay. And did you see Ziyah that day?
My senior did that morning, correct.
Okay. And do you remember what she was wearing at all?
Her coat and her uniform at the time, she had on some blue jeans. I don't really recall the outfit. I just know the coat she had on.
And what was the coat that she had on?
She had on, it was a 90s coat with all the characters on it.
Okay. And you recall seeing her wearing that the morning of January 9th?
Correct.
And your man approach people's already admitted exhibit 2?
Yes.
I'm going to show you people's.
There was no protecting glass there anymore. That's weird. I wonder why it was there that day. Huh. I guess somebody had COVID that was in there or something. I can give you the timeline the police put out. I will post it in my community wall later, but I don't know, like, the detailed timeline I don't have, unfortunately. Somebody in chat might be able to tell you where to find that, Tanika. Boomer said they're trying to cover their own butts. Pun intended. No doubt.
Exhibit 2. Can you tell me, do you recognize a coat in this photo?
Yes.
And whose coat do you recognize that to be?
Ziyah's.
Okay. Now, after you were, when you saw Ziyah that morning, what did you do the rest of the morning?
Nothing. I was at home with my mom and my 2 children.
And do you ever leave the house at any point that day?
No. I was at the house the whole entire day.
Okay. And do you know what time Ziyah would normally get home from school?
On certain days, she will stay for after school, and then on certain days she will come home. The days she will stay for after school is 6, and the days that she don't is at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And on January 9th, do you know if Ziyah had the after school program?
Yes. At that time, my mom took her out of the after school program, so she will come home directly at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And were you home at 3 o'clock?
Yes.
And did you see Ziyah come home?
No.
Okay. And did you see her come home at all the rest of the night?
No.
Okay. Did you leave at any point after 3 o'clock?
No.
Okay. Did you,
why didn't she go
when
look?
Ziyah didn't come home, did that cause you to experience or feel any type of way?
It did. When she did.
Why didn't she come home and look for Ziyah, or go out and look for Ziyah? And again, why did grandma take Ziyah out of the after school program but not the other kids? Especially considering her grades were so good.
She didn't come home is when my mom went to go pick up the other 2 children from the after school program. They knocked on the door and they had asked a question and said,
Objection. Sounds like hearsay.
Was it a response or?
A question isn't hearsay technically.
I think she said she said.
It's just a question.
I'm
Yes.
just getting ready to say a question. Okay,
What was the, what was the question?
The two children had asked me, mom said, did
That's the hearsay. Mom-
Nasiah come home?
The hearsay is mom said.
Okay, so were you asked directly whether Ziyah came home?
So my mom was still in the car, I was inside the house. They was coming to the house, walking up to the door. When I opened the door, they asked me, mom said, did Nasiah come home? I said, no.
And was Ziyah home at all?
No.
Okay. And did you do any sort of looking for Ziyah that night?
Yes.
What did you do?
I called my twin sister. I called some of her friends that I know that stays close by. If they had seen Ziyah, heard from Ziyah and everything. And when I reached out to my sister, she said no. Her friend said no. So after that, I asked my mom, did she want me to call police? She said no, she will take it up in the morning.
Okay. Why are we not calling police immediately? Yeah, Solo, Nana, thank you for being here. I know she said that Ziyah got into a fight, but I guess if that girl was in that program, then maybe that's the reason why, and it's a good reason to not keep her there. So I can understand that. It just irritates me. And I'm letting my bias be shown, but I don't know, because she had good grades, she was doing good. So I feel like her only outlet was taken away from her, her only time out of the house. She said that the grandma said that Ziyah had gotten into a fight with a girl, and I guess it was related to the after school program. So I don't know. It irritates me. Yeah, I'm with Chaz. That's not looking. Colin is not looking. And then if she was asked grandma about, do you want me to call the police? And grandma said, no, I'll do it in the morning. Why are we waiting? I don't understand. Yeah, she just called people. That's it.
Shannon, did you know Ziyah to have a pair of red and black Nike shoes?
Yes.
And if I showed you a picture of them, would you be able to identify them?
Yes.
Karen, may I approach? Yes. And for the record, this is going to be from People's Proposed Exhibit 14, and it'll be picture 34. Do you recognize these shoes?
Yes, that's a pair of shoes that my mom bought for to the birthday.
Okay, thank you. Now, back on the 9th, you said your mom was going to file a police report in the morning.
Correct.
Okay. Did you go with her to file a police report in the morning?
No, it was my oldest sister.
Okay. Did you do anything on the 10th as it relates to trying to find Ziyah?
Yes. We went out. I and some others went out to go get some pictures, made copies. We went to other stores, passed out flyers, and everything that we need to do. Now, what was asked of us to do.
Okay.
What was asked of you to do? Like, why do you have to be asked though? Why wouldn't you want to go ahead and get that stuff out? I mean, I might be just nitpicking at this point, but Boomer, she did throw grandma under the bus, it appears, because from what she said, she asked, did she want to call the police? And grandma said, no, wait.
Since January 9th, 2024, have you seen Ziyah?
No.
Since January 9th, 2024, have you heard from Ziyah?
No.
Carolina said, I'm making a speculation. The family didn't want Jarvis to get in trouble as a question. And yeah, that's where I'm at with it. But why are we protecting this man so much? Is he really bringing in that much money? Is he really, like, what kind of hold in the community does this man have to be protected that much?
Nothing further at this time, Judge.
Ms. Harris, I also have some questions for you. You and Mr. Butts have been, or you've known him for about 12 years?
Correct.
And fair to say that you were in a dating relationship with him for most of that time?
Correct.
But towards the end, like last year, it was more off and on, fair to say?
No, it was on and off for years.
For years, okay. But you have 5 children with him?
Correct.
This relationship that you had with him, even towards the end when it was on, it was a sexual relationship, right?
Correct.
Sometimes you go to a motel to have sex with him?
Correct. Yes.
And that motel was the Park Preston?
Or the SharePoint.
There's more than one?
Multiples, yes.
Okay. But one home was the Park Crest? Said yes?
Correct.
And is that in Harper Woods?
Correct.
On Harper?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know if Mr. Butts, or do you suspect that Mr. Butts has taken other women to those motels also?
Correct.
You do? I believe you said that you have, of your 5 children with him, 2 are girls?
Yes.
And 3 are boys?
Correct.
And in...
This is interesting. Because I think they state that Ziyah was taken to that hotel. It's possible, Rachel. Yeah, he is a typical pedo, Gray Moon. He is a typical pedo. He did target that family. I definitely believe he targeted that family and just hung out for years after.
January of this time, well, January 2023, you were living with your mother on Bedford, correct?
Correct.
Prior to that, were you living in Clinton Township?
Correct.
When did you leave the Clinton Township home and move to the Bedford home?
October 23.
And so there were times when you were in Clinton Township that Mr. Butts would travel out there to see the kids,
Correct.
and then when you moved to the Bedford address, he would go to the Bedford address to see the kids.
Correct.
And then the Bedford address is when Ziyah was also living there, correct?
Correct.
And I believe you just testified that on January the 9th, you were living at that house?
Correct.
And you were there during the day?
Correct.
And so were you one of the first people that realized that Ziyah did not come home when she was expected to be home?
No, I didn't realize it until I had got a question by the other kids had asked, did I have Ziyah came home yet, or have I seen her? And I said no.
Do you remember what time that was in the afternoon?
That was in the evening. My mom picked them up 6 o'clock.
So that was about 3 hours later than she normally should have been home?
Correct.
Was that surprising?
Yes, it was. One, we thought that she was at the after school program, but it didn't dawn on no one until my mom came back to the house and she wasn't here, or she wasn't in the car when they had got in the car.
And so when you all realized that she wasn't at school and she wasn't at home, was that surprising?
Yes.
But you didn't go to the police that night?
Right.
Did she ever not return home previously?
No, this is her first time ever doing this.
Did she have friends in the neighborhood that she would go visit?
Yes.
And you said
This is her first time ever doing this, but you didn't find any issue with it? Like what? Yeah, he's born in 1982. They keep saying 5, but I believe it's 6. There's supposedly Misty Mo, and it's good to see you, love. Supposedly Shannon had a child with Jarvis at the age of 13 as well, and that child was taken away or given up in some way, shape, or form. Susie Q said, I don't think she would blame Jarvis for getting Ziyah pregnant. She would blame Ziyah, and just like Jen, see her as competition instead of a victim of a PDF. And yeah, that's why people think she might have had something to do with her disappearance. And I think that she would too. I don't think she would see it as a problem with Jarvis. But again, if it's generational abuse, then she's not going to think anything is wrong because it's what happened to her. That's why we need to be getting help for our children and lifting them up and letting them know how special and important and beautiful they are, so these predators don't stand a chance if they come across them somewhere, some way, somehow.
That you contacted to ask?
Yes.
Oh, again, this is from Justice is a Process. Please give them a like and subscribe. Their link in the description box and the chat box.
You were just shown a pair of red and black Nike shoes, right?
Correct.
And you identified those shoes as being Ziyah's shoe. Is that correct?
Correct.
It's a shoe that looks like the shoe that Ziyah is wearing, correct?
Correct. Correct.
You can't say for sure that that exact
Yes,
shoe came from Ziyah. Is that fair to say?
Correct.
I think you testified that very rarely would you ever use text now to contact Mr. Butts.
Right.
Only if your phone was turned off.
Right.
And that was not very often.
Right.
Would Ziyah ever have access to your phone to use it?
Yes. Now she would ask, "Hey, TT, can I see your phone?" Sure, I wouldn't mind. Yes.
And so would she text from that phone?
Probably yes.
Did you ever notice any text from
No.
her on your phone?
No.
Did you ever notice that she had used your Text Now app?
But
No.
she just said a minute ago that she hardly ever used her phone.
The only time when I would notice something is say if me and Jarvis would we won't be on the same page seeing eye to eye, and I will call him and he say, "Why you will call me?" or like, why you continue to keep calling me? And I was like, "I haven't called you all day or in 2 days." Then I would go ask my kids like, "Hey, are y'all calling my dad because I haven't called him?"
And until you looked into Ziyah's Instagram account, did you ever notice anything on your phone that caused you to be concerned?
No.
Between Ziyah and Mr. Butts?
No.
Mr. Butts, we said would come to the house to see his kids.
Correct.
He would drop them off at the house sometimes. He would take them places.
Yes.
He would pick Janiyah up from there.
Like he depending on like if he will pick up the kids, if I need him to pick up the kids from the pickup or drop off spot for school, he will do that. Yeah.
And then take them either to Clinton Township when you live there or to the Bedford Street address.
Correct.
Okay. But most times he wouldn't even come to the house, right?
He will come to the house. He will call me first before he will come.
Would he come into the house physically or would he sit in his truck outside?
50%. He will sit in the car and wait till the kids come outside, or he will knock on the door.
So grandma said he didn't ever come in the house. She's saying he would sit in the car and sometimes knock on the door.
Would he be in the house for any length of time?
Only if I'm inside the house.
Like he was visiting with you?
Yes.
Okay.
She just
So you never knew a time that Mr. Butts would have been alone in the house with Ziyah?
No.
You can't think of a time when he would have been in the house and gone down to the basement with her?
No.
Or any other room in the house alone? Would Mr. Butts have ever been at that house if another adult like you were?
How did the police know that he was in the basement alone with Ziyah? And how did the police know that and you don't?
Mother weren't there.
He will. What you said.
Would Mr. Butts ever be at the house if you or your mother weren't there?
No. It will be me or another person.
The idea that anything was going on between Mr. Butts and Ziyah is shocking to you, right?
Correct.
You had no idea.
No.
You never noticed anything between Ziyah and Mr. Butts that made you concerned?
No.
You never saw any inappropriate behavior?
Not at all.
Did you notice Mr. Butts paying any special attention to her?
No.
Certainly, if
I don't believe that.
you had noticed that, that would cause you concern.
Yeah, they would have raised a whole bunch of red flags.
Likely, you wouldn't have invited him into the house, correct?
Correct.
You found it hard to believe even that Mr. Butts would hurt Ziyah.
But I won't know. I don't know what he will do if a person's back is up against the wall.
But the thought of that was hard for you, at least at one point, to be correct.
Correct.
Now, during the time that you and Mr. Butts were together, he had children with other women.
Correct.
Pretty consistently with other women.
Correct.
More than one woman.
Correct.
Some of those women you actually knew about, correct?
Correct.
They lived kind of even in the same neighborhood on the east side.
So when he did it the first time, why not kick this mug to the curb and leave him there? Trudy Uncensored, I played part of her video. She's linked in my description box from yesterday. She's really good. I like her style. You said Tootie Uncensored is the creator. I really couldn't watch much of it. Her style was a little too rough for my taste. I saw one video she did on the brother, and I found it interesting, some of her insights. I played part of it yesterday, just a little clip of it. She seems down to earth and she seems to know about the area, but I could get that. And then this is from Justice is a Process. They're linked in the description box and the chat box. They have a lot of court trial stuff. We're going to watch the rest of Shannon's testimony, and we'll have to go back over the rest of it at some point. I'm going to say at the latest, we'll do it next Saturday and Sunday, because this week we're going to be doing trial coverage of the Megan Boswell trial. So tomorrow I'll probably start at court starts at 9, so it'd be 10:30 or 11. I'll start the stream and we'll just watch the court trial for the week. I'm going to try to get a video out showing the Megan Boswell case.
Correct.
But you suspect that there were women that you didn't know about?
Correct.
Even one that lived, or more than one that lived over on the
I like
side?
2D too.
Correct.
You believe he was going out there to see somebody around the end of 2023, January 2024?
Correct.
Before January the 9th, you had a conversation with Ziyah about a location on Outer Drive in Belfour,
Yes.
and that was surprising to you, right?
Correct.
That's on the east side of Detroit.
Yes.
Did you end up giving her directions on how to get to that location?
Yes.
Why did you give her directions?
I was just getting out the shower and just getting myself together. She asked me, she said, "Hey, Titi," she said, "where is Balfour and Outer Drive?" And I told her, I said, "You know exactly where Balfour and Outer Drive at?" I said, "Outer Drive is right where the wine basket at." And I said, "You know where Balfour at?" And she was like, "I get Balfour and Bedford mixed up." So I said, "You already know Balfour is before Bedford." So she said, "Okay." She said, "Because we are in school and we are learning about our surroundings." So I said, "Okay." But that was the only two things that she had asked, was where was Outer Drive and Balfour at.
Does that location have any special significance to you?
No.
Do you know it?
I was just picking up Jarvis Outer Drive and Balfour. It's just on the corner.
On the corner?
We don't know. His trial has not been pushed back as of now, but I do believe when he goes to court, it will be pushed back. If it's not, I'm going to switch to that as far as trial coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you all for being here. Yeah, that's another channel. She has a lot of good stuff on this case. She knew Ziyah asked for directions that day, yet no one went to the shop first to look for that baby. Make it make sense. Yes. Nobody checked the shop, even though she was known to go there and ask for directions. Doesn't make not a lick of damn sense.
When was this conversation that you had about that location? Do you recall?
This was right before Ziyah went missing.
Like how soon before? Weeks?
Maybe it was still in that same week she went missing.
Mr. Butts didn't have his own vehicle, fair to say?
No, he didn't.
He generally used
his female vehicles.
Did you know Mr. Butts to park at one location and maybe walk to another to kind of try to remain undetected?
Pretty much, yes.
So would it be not out of the ordinary for you to have to pick him up at a random, or what seemed to be a random location to you?
Correct.
You lived with Ziyah for, you said, from about October until January the 9th.
Correct.
So you spent a lot of time around her?
Yes.
You knew her mannerisms?
Yes.
Her demeanor?
Yes.
Her moods?
Yes.
Did anything strike you as out of the ordinary about how she was acting at any point in time in December or January before she disappeared?
No, Ziyah, nothing have changed her character, none of that. She was just the same on Ziyah. Nothing is different.
Ziyah's a brother, right?
Yes.
Was it an older brother?
Yes.
Now, he had run away in 2023, is that right?
Yes.
That's irrelevant. How was it relevant? If it's something that had bothered her or something that she was dealing with at the time, could cause a change in her demeanor. Okay. Overall. So she did have a brother that ran away?
Correct.
And was that something that she struggled with?
She didn't like the fact that her brother was running away. Yes, he didn't like it.
Around the same time, around the time, December, January, was her mother supposed to come visit, her biological mother?
Yes.
Susie Q said it blows my mind that there's people like that out there who would be jealous of a little girl and think that they are rivals instead of children needing protection that should not be with these men. It blows my mind too. K-Palm, the Napalm says the shop was searched, but the actual PD was not notified, and Ziyah went missing for nearly a week. Her grandma reported her as a runaway to the school resource officer the next day. Yeah, and then from what I understand, the school resource officer didn't report it for a month. Misty Mo said, I don't even recognize Shannon in 2D's uncensored videos. She looked or spoke totally different than what she displayed in court. I've heard her talking, and it is insane the way she talks and acts and things. Yep. K-Palm said 3 to 4 days later, the actual Detroit Police Department was notified. Plenty of time to get rid of evidence and cover tracks. Yeah, from what I understand, I think it was about a month, which is absolutely mind-blowing.
Did she end up coming to see Ziyah?
Yes.
She did. Did Ziyah seem to have some big emotions about that contact?
Yes.
It was complicated, fair to say?
Yes.
Did she talk to you about that?
All the time.
Did you notice anything? You said you didn't notice anything in a changing mood. So
No.
what about physically?
No.
Would they admit it if they had?
I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Did you go to the Park Preston on January 9th, 2024? Mr.
No.
Butts?
No.
You knew of Mr. Butts having other females?
Yes.
Okay. And even some that you didn't know about?
Correct.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that you don't always know, or you didn't always know what Mr. Butts was doing?
No.
You couldn't cover his whereabouts every minute of the day?
No.
Did you know him to, one of those cars that you used, did you know him to have a white Escalade type truck?
Correct. Yes.
And you were asking questions about Outer Drive and Bell. Fair to say, from what I gathered, the only connection you have to that area is Jarvis Butts.
Correct.
Okay, so he's the only one you would associate with that area.
Correct.
So then why, when this child asked you for directions to that area and that that's where Jarvis Butts is, that's the only person you would associate with that area, you number one, told her how to get there, evidently, and number two, didn't think to look there? Like, are we serious right now? Stop. There's no way. There's no way they didn't know what was going on. The darkness in the family runs deep. None of these girls had a chance. It was normalized for them. Nobody was shocked. No, Ziyah was being essayed by grown men. They all had it happen too. I think so. I really do. That's what it seems like. They are so calm. Boomer said, how does this hotel not say anything about this man bringing a girl to the hotel? I don't know. She could have got out of the car and they might not have seen her, but yeah, I wish they would have said something too. Abella said, that's crazy. What was the other story where the victim wasn't reported missing for a year or two? WTF? Yeah, Harmony. It was a long time before she was reported missing. Hey, Tip, you caught us right at the end, right when we're about to end it. But I appreciate you coming in. Right, Jenny Jen, stop it. You're lying. Such a liar, McLiarson.
And you knew Mr. Butts to have other children?
Correct.
Okay, and you knew him to have clearly gotten other women pregnant?
Correct.
And to your knowledge, were all those women adults?
To my knowledge, yes.
Did he to you ever hide getting another woman pregnant?
No.
Nothing further, Rich.
Okay, you are done testifying. Please watch yourself.
Okay, again, that was from Justice as a Process. I tried to reach out to them, was not able to get them. So again, they're linked at the chat box, at the pinned comment, and in the description box. Please give them a like and subscribe. And I really appreciate the ability to use their information, even if you are a even if you're watching the replay and the testimonies are out because they strike me, please still go see them and give them a like and subscribe. Susie Q said the way that Ziyah was talking to Jarvis in her text was jaw-dropping. It's even more sad to think that you wouldn't have to be talking inappropriately. You would have to be talking inappropriately for a long time to get to that point. She was probably being groomed for years. Yep. K-Pom said, we all need to protect our kids. People don't realize how easy things like this happen. I went through it. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I've been through similar things, too. And we need to try to break this cycle. Again, I do want to reiterate, please say a prayer for the families and victims and lift your children up. Let them know that they are special. Do something with them that makes them feel good. Tell them how smart and wonderful and beautiful and amazing they are, so that if somebody is approaching them or has that you don't know about, so that the first person that comes off the street tells them they're beautiful, they don't fall for it. They don't think that that's the best they can get. They aren't swayed by somebody paying them attention, making them feel special. We need to make our children feel special as well. I heard that I saw where it says she calls him and says to him, "You are the monster." So I'm going to try to do an update on Megan Boswell. If I'm not able to, please check out Alex Erickson or Leave It to Bieber. I will link them in the description box. They have great breakdowns of the case. I'm going to do my best to get out a short video breaking down the Megan Boswell case. We will start tomorrow earlier than normal so that we can start covering this trial. And I'm going to try to cover the Megan Boswell trial from beginning or end. They will be long streams because we're just going to I'm going to be watching the trial and I'm going to watch it with you guys, and you guys can pop in and out and tell me what you think, what you comment on it. We'll talk about it and all of that. I really appreciate you spending your Sunday with me today, and thank you so much for your support. Please hit the thumbs up. I hope you have a good day. Spend some time with your family. Let your kids know you love them, and I will see y'all tomorrow morning. Stay safe out there and say a prayer for these victims and families, and I look forward to spending time with y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. If you want to keep talking, I'll be in and out of Discord, and there's always people in the Discord, so you can join the Discord and keep talking to us, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.
Listen up, I gotta tell you, there is something you should